Cappuccino for Kristen.
Oh, sorry, mate. I've forgotten my card.
All right, of course you have. Third time this week, just saying.
I'll get the next ones, promise.
No need.
Oh, thank you.
You can just send me £4.70 with your PayPal app. For your double shot oat milk skinny caramel latte with extra foam.
Oh, don't forget my sprinkles.
Don't just pay. PayPal.
A PayPal account is required to send and receive money.
Oh, Jamie's got a new car. He only passed his test last week. Chloe and the kids on the school run in their new hybrid, and the Flemings from 23 off to see their daughter at uni. Get car and van insurance that's right up your street at parkerscompare.com. Created by the experts at Parkers, we're 100% independent and dedicated to helping you find the right insurance policy. Quick and easy, you could compare quotes in just 5 minutes from some of the UK's leading providers. For car insurance comparisons you can trust, visit parkerscompare.com. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. The fully electric Q4 is now available on Motability. Discover it today. It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on a huge day of Premiership action. Celtic are looking to stretch their lead at the top when they welcome Hibs, although Aberdeen will be looking to keep up when they host St Johnstone. Motherwell are starting to struggle and they go to St Mirren. And speaking of strugglers, Killie are on the road to Tannadice. Hearts against Dundee, the final Saturday offering, and then over to Dingwall tomorrow to see what Rangers can produce. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me this afternoon you have Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
I would call this the day of reckoning for a lot of clubs in the Premiership. Kilmarnock at Dundee United, having lost 6 goals to Rangers on Wednesday night, and they're in free fall and they're in trouble. Speaking of which, Motherwell at St Mirren, having lost 4 goals midweek to Dundee, they are also in trouble. Likewise, Aberdeen against St Johnstone, 2 points from the last 12 for Jimmy Talleen. Has the Pittodrie bubble burst? We'll find out this afternoon. And Hearts, bottom of the league, take on Dundee, 9 points above them. It'll be a tense afternoon at Tynecastle. And the big game, Celtic against Hibs. Hibs, second bottom of the league. Celtic's job to make sure that the work they did at Pittodrie in midweek, and it was some work on a terrible night, they have to make sure that's not in vain when they have the chance to go 14 points ahead of Rangers.
Yeah, 5 good games in the top flight this afternoon and many more across the divisions. But Hugh's right in pointing out important ones at that for some sides today. Motherwell, of course, away at St Mirren, that's a huge one. Interesting to see how Aberdeen bounce back, because this is a testing period for Jimmy Thaleen's side. They could do with a victory to get back in the coattails of Celtic, and for Celtic at home to Hibs, you'd expect that to be a Celtic win, but you just never know when it gets to this period when games are coming around thick and fast.
Like the guys, looking forward to it. I know the weather's not particularly great outside, but hopefully the football will warm everybody up and give us some entertainment, plenty of goals, and there's some cracking fixtures all the way down the card.
Yes, plenty to look forward to. You can stay in touch throughout the afternoon on @ClydeSSB on Twitter. And of course, you know what it means after full time. We switch on the phones and get you to give us your live reaction to whatever you have witnessed today, or indeed looking ahead to tomorrow. Just a quick fitness test before we kick off. Cash for Kids lunch yesterday. You're all here in body, certainly.
Well, I can only speak for myself. I did pass a late fitness test this morning at 11 o'clock, but
You forgot he was there yesterday.
I'm certainly here. I had an early night, not like these guys to the right to me.
Well, I have to confess, there was the use of a Glaswegian word first thing this morning, and the word was, oh yeah.
I'm alright, I'm a professional at this. I've done this many times.
Listen, there are a couple of telltale signs early on. It's 6 minutes past 2 and you're sitting already, whilst the rest of us are standing. Don't think you're off the hook. I know you ordered a double espresso on your way in here because I went into the same shop. And as for you,
did she grass me up with a double espresso?
I'll leave your bit out of this anyway. Let's hope they make it between now and 6 o'clock. You can keep us company. Let's go round the grounds because you're spoiled rotten on this Saturday afternoon. Our weather correspondent, as he does every week, has alluded to it. It's miserable. Get the door shut, get the feet up, listen to us and see what Scottish football has on offer for you, starting at Celtic Park, where Hibs are the visitors and Andrew McLean is watching on.
Yeah, we're used to seeing Celtic as this sort of free-flowing machine this season, aren't we? Didn't quite look that way midweek. They had to show different qualities to get that 1-0 win over Aberdeen at Pittodrie to send them 7 points clear at the top of the table. Their biggest concern at the moment, and I mean that in a good way, is who plays. Brendan Rodgers has the luxury of being able to rotate, bring in different players, rest others when they've got such a busy schedule. And whatever he does, he still has plenty of quality on the pitch and on the bench. He's done the same again today ahead of another busy week. They're of course playing against Dinamo Zagreb and a cup final to look forward to as well. 5 changes for this one. Carter Vickers, Vai, Hatate, Bernardo and Kyogo drop out. In come Scales, Taylor, Engels, McCowan and Ida. So it's Kasper Schmeichel in goal, Alistair Johnson, Austin Trusty, Liam Scales, Greg Taylor the back 4. The midfield 3, Callum McGregor, Arna Engels and Luke McCowan, Nicholas Kuhn and Daisen Maeda either side of Adam Ida. The substitutes: Sinisalo, Kyogo, Vai, Yang, Carter Vickers, Bernardo, Hatate, Forrest and Ralston. As for the visitors, Hibs, they ended that run of 9 games without a win in some style last weekend. Can that 3-0 win over Motherwell prove to be a turning point for these players and for David Gray as well? They've got 6 goals in their last 2 matches, 1 place and 2 points now above bottom placed Hearts. A huge ask for them today though at Celtic Park. 2 changes for them: Chris Cadden and Junior Hoylett dropping out. In come Obita and Miller. So it's going to be Jordan Smith in goal. The back 3, Warren O'Hora, Rocky Bashiri and Jack Iredale. Lewis Miller and Jordan Obita, the 2 wing backs. Nectar Triantis and Joe Newell in midfield, and it will be Nicky Cadden in behind Eli Yuan and Mikla Kuharevich. The substitutes: Bursick, Levitt, Doyle Hayes, Boyle, Cadden, Chris Cadden that is, Mariah Welsh, Hoylett, Campbell and Gale.
Well, there you are, Mark Wilson. We know the Celtic narrative just now is all about squad depth and rotation and who plays and who doesn't and what games are more important than others, all that sort of stuff. What did you make of this selection today?
Well, expected. I was going to say I was listening to a story there. Look, Engels back in. McCown did well last week, didn't he? So I think he deserves his shot. Scales in a nod to midweek, you'd have to say. But those guys that have come in did so well last week. So Brendan Rodgers is in a great position just now because he's got guys on the bench, or guys probably not even stripped, that are pushing his starting 11 all the way. So you wouldn't expect anything other than a Celtic win with that starting 11. Well,
I'm glad to see Greg Taylor getting his place, because his involvement in Celtic's goal at Pittodrie was terrific. The way he picked out Rio Hatate. Ida, I think, is the man for a day like this, and either side of him, Kuhn and Maeda, and of course Luke McCowan, the fans' favourite, the undoubted poster boy for the Celtic supporters. If you listen to our programme Monday to Friday, he has a huge groundswell of support, so he has to make the most of his start today. As I say, in this part of the world, I know that Aberdeen are there and are second, but in this part of the world, it's all about the difference between Celtic and Rangers, especially when they are days away from meeting each other in a cup final. And Celtic's priority today is to win, go 14 points ahead of Rangers, and see what pressure, if any, it puts on Philippe Clement and his players in the Highlands tomorrow.
The Luke McCowan situation's so interesting, Gordon. Every time he plays, not only does he not put a foot wrong, he contributes so positively. This time last week, we're talking about him being in the team. He scores, he sets up a couple, and everybody of a Celtic persuasion and neutrals to an extent as well, talking about just how good he is. Oh, but he won't start the Champions League game, or he won't start the cup final. No. It's such a weird ceiling he seems to have there because of the depth and the options that Celtic have. It's
just the quality that Celtic have in their disposal in the middle of the park. I heard Brendan Rodgers talking today, Gordon, in the way in, saying, look, you concentrate on the game ahead, but you always have one eye in the other games. And he's got a big week coming up. Obviously Champions League midweek, and then the cup final against Rangers. He's rotated the squad, but every time he makes changes, you never look at this Celtic lineup and think, oh, he's weakened it. You know, they've just got some terrific players, and then obviously if things aren't going well, he's got players that can come off the bench and turn games round for him. But I expect him to not be easy, but I expect them to win comfortably today.
It would be ridiculous to have put in the effort that Celtic put in a storm at Pittodrie on Wednesday night and drop points at home to a team who are second bottom of the league. But that side today, chosen to start the match, that Celtic side could play on any Saturday, Sunday, midweek night, any time you like, and you wouldn't think that's a weakened side.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, last week was a sort of similar fixture, if you like. It's a home game against a team that isn't having a particularly brilliant season, so these tend to be the types of games that you would see more changes. But is it fairly clear that Brendan Rodgers has the size of this week in mind when you look at what's to come in Zagreb and of course at Hampden?
I think so, and I think the effort that's taken out of the players midweek as well, because it was a hard shift for those players in those conditions. But I think you're right. I think he's looking ahead to Zagreb and obviously next Sunday it's final. And if you're not going to utilise your squad now in December, when are you going to utilise it? But last week worked perfectly well. I think it's important how you start the game though, and Celtic got that spot on last week with all those changes. McCown was at it, Ida was at it, and of course they get their 5 goals in the first period. It's going to have to be similar today. How
do you rate Hibs' chances of stopping Celtic? I mean, no one's really managing it, but they have scored 6 in the last 2. They got that home draw against Aberdeen. They went to Motherwell and won 3-0. They've had the full week's rest. I'm trying to make the case.
Yeah, of course. Listen, it'll need an off day from Celtic and a good start from Hibs to try and get something to hold on to. I think last week against Motherwell was massive for Hibs, because if they lost that and then you'd expect them to lose today, I don't know if the manager would have been in a job next week. So I think the Motherwell victory gave them a bit of confidence. You know, he was very complimentary, his team, after the 3-0 at Fir Park. But this is a different ask today. I think you're going up against a real class side.
Your concern always with Hibs is the back line, isn't it? And you look at the changes that have been made as well. Abita coming in, Miller in full back positions have been a real problem for Hibs this season. Concede too many goals from those pair, or a sending off. And then when you look at their centre halves as well, there are mistakes in that Hibs back line. So David Gray's going to have to ask for a lot. He's going to have to hope that they're concentrated, they don't slip up, and he's going to need big performances all across that back line today.
Celtic would need to have a real off day, and Hibs would need to be spectacular for this to be anything other than a home win. And there's a look in Brendan Rodgers' eye this season. He wants this season, I think, to be a huge one for Celtic.
Okay, let's go to Paisley. St Mirren taking on Motherwell. David Friel is there.
Yeah, Gordon, and the weatherman in the studio will be happy to know it's absolutely Baltic here today. But look, it should be a good game. 6th place team up against the 7th place team. Both teams coming in off the back of defeats into this one. But I think it's fair to say St Mirren are definitely in a better place than Motherwell as they look to leapfrog Motherwell today. Stephen Robinson's side lost 2-0 at Dundee United last weekend. There was controversy, of course. Marcus Fraser sent off only to have the red card rescinded after winning an SFA appeal this week. It's very rare now in the world of VAR, but he's free to play today, and I think St Mirren are going to be looking to get back on track at home as they try and chase down Motherwell. They'd taken 10 points out of 12 before that United defeat. They're always strong at the Smizer, but I think history, if you look at the scores between the teams, tells you this is going to be a tight game. In the last 8 meetings there's been 2 draws and 3 single goal wins for each side, so it tends to be tight. It was earlier in the season. Motherwell beat St Mirren 2-1 in August, and I think Stuart Kettleway would clearly take that again after a poor run. They've lost 3 in a row, they've conceded 9 goals in those 3 games, and they badly need to tighten things up at the back. As happens when you start to lose games, a lot of negative stats flying about just now. Motherwell won this week that's quite eye-catching. They've kept just 4 clean sheets in the last 52 league games. They're currently 14 games without a clean sheet in all competitions. I think it's clear the loss of Paul McGinn, Stephen O'Donnell to injury hasn't helped in that front. There is good news. Stephen O'Donnell is back on the bench today. Stuart Kettlewell, he was clearly unhappy with ref John Beaton during the week. His decision to play on after a head knock to Kofi Barmer before Dundee's crucial second goal in that 4-1 defeat. He spoke at length about it again yesterday, but look, it's a bit more than referees. He probably did have a point, but he'll also know that Motherwell need to up their performance levels. And saying that, they didn't get too much luck at Dundee, and they are still in a decent position, top 6. They've just been in the semi-final, they're sitting 6 just now with a game in hand on the likes of Dundee and St Mirren, so it's not all doom and gloom for Motherwell, but they do have to get back getting points on the board. We'll just run through the teams. St Mirren are unchanged from Tannadice. It'll be the usual 3-4-2-1 formation. Ellery Balcom in goals. A back three of Marcus Fraser, Alec Gogic and Richard Taylor. Elvis Bilmono, Mark O'Hara, Killian Phillips and Scott Tanza across the middle with Conor McMenamin and Greg Kiltie in behind. Toyosi Olasanya, Urminski, Yakaviti, John, Boyd Munn, Smythe, Adua, Mooney, Ayunga and Mandron are the subs. That's for Motherwell. They have made 2 changes. Andy Halliday is in for Harry Payton and Shane Blaney also comes in for Kofi Balmer at the back. It looks like a 3-5-2 setup. Aston Oxborough in goals. Dan Casey, Liam Gordon, Shane Blaney at the back. Jared Tavares will be a wing back along with Steve Seddon on the other side. Andy Halliday, Ewan Wilson and Lennon Miller will be the midfield 3, with Tony Watt and Apostolos Stamatolopoulos up front. Subs for Motherwell are Heggie, O'Donnell, Balmer, Caletta, Dravkovsky, Payton, Nicholson, Ibi and Maswanisi. The referee at the Smize is Dan McFarlane and the VAR is Don Robertson.
Speaking of away teams who could be doing with a win, Roger Hanna's watching Kilmarnock go to Tannadice.
Yes, going on a few hangovers in the studio, but Derek McInnes cannot afford Kilmarnock to have an Ibrox hangover today. We saw them lose 6-0 to Rangers on Wednesday night, and there are some damning statistics that tell you how poor Kilmarnock are at the minute. 4 defeats and a draw in their last 5. They've now conceded the most goals in the Premiership. They've the worst goal difference in the Premiership. They lie down in 10th place, or just 3 points above rock bottom Hearts, and it won't get any easier for them today. United, of course, spectacularly came back from 3-1 down for a 3-3 draw at Rugby Park in September. Louis Mould opened the scoring that day, and that's the only change from the side that beat St Mirren here 7 days ago. Mould coming in for Glenn Middleton in attack. He'll be on top with the Premiership Player of the Month, Sam Dalby, who'll celebrate his 25th birthday day, and he'll be hoping to do so with another home win for Jim Goodwin's side. So that United change means that Jack Walton's in goals. The back 3, Emmanuel Adebayoga, Declan Gallagher and Kevin Holt. Across the middle, Ryan Stray, Lucas Stevenson, Vico Savell, David Babinski and Will Ferry. And up top it's Louis Mould and Sam Dalby on the bench. Richards, Sturton and Graham, Odada, Ubochioma and Van der Sande, Thompson, Fotheringham and Middleton. Derek McInnes has reacted to that Ibrox defeat with 3 changes. Liam Polworth comes into the midfield for David Watson. Fraser Murray's at left wing back in place of Ollie Bainbridge, and up top Bruce Anderson gets a start ahead of Marley Watkins, and that means it's Robbie McCrory in goal. A back 3, Joe Wright is recovered from that nasty knock in the head he got at Ibrox in midweek. Lewis Mayo and Robbie Dees, then Corey and Daba just in front of them. A midfield 4, Danny Armstrong, Brad Lyons, Liam Polworth and Fraser Murray, and up top it's Bruce Anderson with the skipper Kyle Vassell on the bench. O'Hara, Burrows and McKenzie, Watson, Mackay, Stephen and McGuinness, Watkins, Wales and Bainbridge. Can he have one with clean sheets on their last 2 visits here? Vassell scoring 3 goals in those 2 wins, and McInnes made no bones about it. He wants a clean sheet first after the goals have been losing today. The referee here is Stephen McLean. The VAR is Alan Muir, and if it's half as good as their meeting in September, we're in for a good game of football today, Gordon.
Looking forward to that one equally. Tynecastle for Hearts against Dundee. Fraser Wishart is there.
Yes, it's still a bit strange to talk about bottom of the table Hearts, but that's where they sit with 10 points after 15 games, only 2 wins all season. Of course, they're not adrift at the bottom, and they now have a run of games where they'll be looking to pick up points between now and the new year. And at that point, if they don't win any of those games and are adrift at the bottom and still bottom of the league, then I think that's when you can start to say that Hearts are in trouble. Things have improved a bit since Neil Critchley came in, especially in Europe, where every chance they'll be in the knockout stages. But in the January transfer window, you have to think this talk during the week of Tony Bloom being involved and all the analysts and all the expertise he would bring. They'll perhaps bring in a lone player like Ellis Sims a couple of seasons ago who made a great impact here. But if Lawrence Shankland starts firing, then that could be today. And I think this will be a tricky one for Hearts. Dundee in a good run of form, 3 wins, 1 draw in the last 5 games. They come here on the back of a comprehensive win in midweek against Motherwell. Leo Cameron has been the star man, just turned 22 recently and really improving with every game, so Hearts will need to look after his attacking play. Really interesting to see Tony Docherty in the media today challenging his players to stay in the top 6. Clearly he is looking up the division table rather than down. Really positive talk from the manager. I think he fancies this one today, so a fascinating 90 minutes ahead. First 20 minutes might be most important if Dundee can take control of the game. Interesting to see how the Hearts fans will react. Hearts too good to go down. They need to start proving that by winning games fairly quickly. For Hearts, they made 3 changes. Out go Kingsley with that long-term injury. Kent's also injured, and Alan Forrest drops to the bench. In come Halkett, Penrice and Wilson. A 4-2-3-1 formation. Craig Gordon in goals. Daniel Oyegoke, Craig Halkett, Kai Rose and James Penrice across the back. In midfield, Cammy Devlin and Malachi Boateng. The 3 behind the striker, Musa Drame, Lon Shankland and Blair Spittle, and the lone striker is young James Wilson. Their subs Xander Clark, George Grant, Yutaro Oda, Alan Forrest, Jan Danda, Macaulay Tate, Adam Forrester, Kenny Vargas and Andres Salazar. 2 changes for Dundee from that midweek win against Motherwell. Tiffany and Murray dropped to the bench, in come Robertson and Palmer Holden. Looks like a 3-4-2-1 formation for them. John McCracken in goals, Ryan Astley, Antonio Portales and Billy Cumetio at the back. Josh Mulligan, Jordan McGee, Mo Silla and Finlay Roberts in midfield with Lyle Cameron and Olu Adewume behind the lone striker Seb Palmer Holden. The subs for Dundee: Harrison Sharp, Trevor Carson, Ethan Ingram, Scott Tiffany, Curtis Main, Simon Murray, Sean Kelly, Samuel Braybook and Julian Vetro. The referee at Tynecastle is Colin Stephen and the VAR is Andrew Dallas.
Should be a good one. What about Pittodrie then? Aberdeen against St Johnstone. Dave Galloway's there.
Despite taking just 2 points from their last 4 matches, Gordon, Jimmy Tulane insists nothing has changed for Aberdeen and it's all about his long-term blueprint for the team. Having set the bar so high this season, the Dons will be very keen to get back to winning ways starting today. Although they're still in second place, Rangers are closing in very quickly. Simo Valakari is full of praise for his St Johnstone players for their response since he arrived as manager. But with only 1 victory in 5 matches, he's looking for performances that go from start to finish. They'd welcome anything they can get this afternoon. Although they're in 9th place, Saints are just 3 points off the foot of the table. It's very congested down at the bottom. Aberdeen make a couple of changes. Clarkson and Milne replacing Duke and Devlin. So it's Ross Doohan in goals across the back, Jack Milne, Slobodan Rubizic, Gavin Malloy and James McGarry. The sitting midfielders, Graham Shinney and Sivert Helton and Nielsen. Then it's Leighton Clarkson, Jamie McGrath and Topi Keskinen behind the main striker, Kevin Nisbet. Subs for Aberdeen today: Ritchie, Devlin, Duke, Bissawin, Palaversa, Sockler, McDonald, Ambrose and Keskinen. A couple of changes also for St Johnstone. Nielsen and Matt Smith are in for Raymond and Carey, so they will start. Josh Ray, then a back 4 of Dre Wright, Jack Saunders, Bozo Mikulic and Lewis Nielsen. Then it's Matt Smith, Sven Sprangler and Jason Holt, with Nicky Clark playing off the main front 2, Mackenzie Kirk and Benji Kimpioka. On the bench for the Saints today: Sinclair, Cameron, Carey, Essel, Sibide, easy for me to say, Kusharevi, McPake, Kelshins and Franzak. Match referee at Pittodrie, Ross Hardy, and John Beaton is your man on VAR.
Looking forward to them all. What a lineup we have. Of course, Ross County Rangers tomorrow. Big games in the Championship, but that's you up to speed on your team news from the top flight. We'll take a look back at some of the other big talking points when we return. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp. We're probably all guilty of not taking enough moments in our life to say thank you to someone important, someone who makes a difference. For me, of course, I've got family and friends I can speak to, but what about the family in here? As much as we get nonsense from the likes of Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel on this show, it is really important, seriously, to take a moment and realise the difference having a laugh with your friends can make and escape whatever else is going on. So I'd like to shout out to them both and all the other pundits in the show for keeping me and hopefully you entertained every night. And this month with BetterHelp, it's all about gratitude. So along with the likes of Mark and Daz, the other person we don't get to thank enough is ourselves. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself, because you're listening to the Super Scoreboard podcast. You're obviously already got pretty sound judgment. Remember to tell yourself that there are so many benefits to using BetterHelp for therapy. It's not just for people who've experienced serious trauma in their lives. There are great tips for learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries and just be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. With over 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise in mental health. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/SSB. That's betterhelp.com/SSB.
Get in! Finally found the perfect sofa. A massaging, reclining, pink chaise longue. What a win. Only thing is, I haven't shopped on this site before.
Maybe use PayPal. It could help you feel secure, knowing your card and bank information is safely stored.
Oh, good call. Looks like I'm sitting pretty. Wait.
Really? You're better than that. Don't just pay. PayPal.
Looking to get car or van insurance double quick? To mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. Car or van, work or play. Compare insurance with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel in the studio. The top team around the grounds. They've given you the team news. They've given you the scene setter. And we are raring to go on a Saturday afternoon. We quite often pause to reflect on some of the other big stories that are doing the rounds away from the Saturday games. And here's one that I thought we would touch on because we didn't really get to it last night. And as far as I can tell, there is only one of our pundits that was quoted on the front page of a newspaper this morning, and I think it was Fraser Wishart, in relation to this story yesterday that the SPFL have charged Celtic, Motherwell and Rangers over the behaviour of fans at the League Cup semi-finals relating to flares and pyros, delayed kick-off. And it's rare because the SPFL doesn't tend to get involved in this sort of stuff. What's your reaction to that, Fraser?
Yeah, I agree totally, Gordon. The SPFL doesn't tend to get involved in fan behaviour. There's been objects thrown, there's been sectarian singing, there's been racist chanting, but nothing seems to happen. But I think the fact that they have got involved, and the fact that Brendan Rodgers and Philip Clement clearly were told to speak out about it, tells you how worried football is. And of course we have a cup final in 8 days' time, and I think that's going to be a big test for the supporters. Listen, I get how supporters want to have these flares. They look brilliant, they look fantastic, it brings a great atmosphere, but I know from my experience with other player unions across Europe, in Belgium, lower leagues, a player picked up one of these flares and to throw off the park and exploded, and he lost fingers and part of his hand. There was a Cypriot player who lost the hearing for a short period of time as well and got burns on his neck. We've had a young Dundee fan burnt last year as well. They are dangerous, and I just all what I'm trying to say is reach out to supporters to say, listen, I know you want to do it, but it's not allowed, it's illegal to have them in the ground. And the chances of you or being hurt or hurting somebody else are pretty high, and nobody wants to spoil the fun. But if we don't, you see football's worried, then Scottish Government and local authorities might just step in and take action, which none of us want.
Yeah, the SPFL described the behaviour as illegal, dangerous, irresponsible, and the clubs now face punishment for breaking the rules. We don't yet know what that punishment will look like. There will be coming together in the new year probably at this stage. And a disciplinary hearing will take place. Roger, what's your reaction to that one?
Well, it'll be a fine, Gordon. I don't think there's any doubt about it. It'll be a fine. The same as both clubs have had fines from UEFA in the past, and it just damages the clubs. The clubs don't want pyro, the managers don't want pyro, the players don't want pyro. They're going to end up, there's serious talks just now involving the Scottish Government and the SPFL. It's going to end up with football banning orders being widened. If you're caught with pyro at a game in the next wee while, you'll get a 10-year banning order from your club. It's as simple as that. So the message is, don't take pyro to the game. If you want to play with your pyro, do it in the garden, do it up the street. In fact, don't do it up the street, do it in your own garden, your own premises, because the people who have premises at Hampden, Celtic Park, Ibrox and Fir Park do not want your pyro, so stop it.
What do you think's behind the sudden decision for the SPFL to take notice of stuff like this?
I'm not too sure how sudden it is. There have been talks for a long time. The SPFL have been involved. Fraser will know about this. Scottish Government's been involved. The Police Scotland are involved in the talks as well. At the minute, the width of the football banning orders is quite narrow in Scotland. You need to be involved in sort of more or less serious criminal activity to land a football banning order. And I think the authorities now want the scope of these banning orders to be widened to include the likes of taking illegal pyros into the game. So it's not a sudden thing. I think they've been working behind the scenes on this for a while, but I think they would be stunned by the level of pyro in those two Premier Sports Cup semi-finals, and that probably forced their hand to take it to the clubs. And the clubs now, I mean, these might be the only three cases ever where the clubs are probably welcoming the charge because they hope it's going to be a wake-up call to the supporters who take pyro to the games.
I just wondered if there was a pressure from somewhere, Fraser, not to say that that's not okay, just curious. I won't argue with my learned friend Roger about the use of the word sudden too much, but I've seen pyro hundreds of times at Scottish football matches. I just wondered why this was the one that the SPFL decided to get involved in. Like I say, I hope that doesn't come across like that's me saying that it's not okay to get involved. I just wonder if what changed.
I think it's probably on the back of the two semi-finals, Gordon, when the games were delayed and there was that toxic smoke going right across the field, and you couldn't see the start of the game, you couldn't see the pitch when you were watching on television or even if you're there. And I think that football is concerned about this as well. They're concerned there's a cup final next week, and the Rangers and Celtic fans may well be making plans to have their own pyros displays as well. So I think there's a combination of things. I've been at some of these round table talks as well, and everybody is concerned about it. And certainly from my perspective, and this is just my view, I'm concerned that, and this has never been said, but I'm concerned that local authorities might step in and just close a ground or close a stand or do something, because the local authorities licence football games the same as they do any other event. So I think it's making it plain to see for the supporters who want to come along and display the pyros. I said earlier, it looks brilliant, it looks fantastic, I totally get why, but the message to them is you can't, and you're not allowed to, and there could be consequences out with football if it happens again.
Yeah, I wonder, is there any, I don't know if compromise is the right word, but you're right, you've seen the appetite, and all you have to do is look at the replies on social media where so many fans say, well, we're going to do it anyway and it's not going to make a difference, and why does no one listen to the fans? There's clearly an appetite there for it, other leagues do it, all those arguments that you've heard. Is there any room for any of that stuff for you?
Yeah, I think there is. I think that we need to listen to supporters, we need to talk to the supporters. I hear stories about safe pyro, and in other countries how it's all planned and it's in a certain area of the ground, and I think everything should be explored, and we need to speak to supporters. But until that's done, at the moment it's a serious situation for the clubs, it's a serious situation for the game, and I wouldn't want it to be that somebody either in the crowd or there's photographers behind the goals, there's police, there's stewards, there's players. We don't want somebody to be seriously hurt before people sit up and listen. I think the message is clear to supporters just now is don't bring the pyro, and let's listen to supporters and see if some compromise can be found. I'm not an expert in these areas, but always happy to talk to supporters if they have an option where this can be done safely.
I suppose on an isolated example, David Friel, Celtic fans have done this in Europe a number of times and had fines for it, and then it became quite clear that the next breach could lead to a failure to get away tickets for a Champions League match, and lo and behold, it didn't happen then at the previous Champions League match. Does that prove it works, or is that just kind of isolated example?
I think it's maybe an isolated example in the sense that the punishment of missing a Champions League away match has clearly led to Celtic fans realising they need to stop it in terms of Champions League games. I'm not so sure a fine from the SPFL will make drastic changes, but I think it's just part of the wider strategy, Gordon. For me, I was like you yesterday. I was thinking, why now? Why all of a sudden, when the SPFL has never really been interested in strict liability or never adopted that, they suddenly charging clubs with unacceptable conduct. But when you spoke to people after the press release came out and speaking to people behind the scenes, I think it's clear that there's just a lot of a real weight of support behind eradicating pyro completely. And as Fraser said, local authorities are involved, politicians are involved, police, and I think the SPFL just felt, given how long the delays were and how large the pyro displays were at the semi-finals, that this was the time to step in and do something. I don't see any coincidence the cup finals next weekend. I don't know what's been planned by both sets of fans, but they clearly feel that the level of feeling is very strong here, and the Scottish football authorities, in line with politicians and cops, are really trying to crack down on this before someone gets hurt.
There's a bit of time to pass before we find out what that punishment would be, Roger, but if it is a fine, like you said you expect it to be, I suppose that would mean more to a club like Motherwell, because they're involved in this as well, and there is a notion there when it happens to Celtic in Europe or it happens to Rangers, whatever, 20 grand, 30 grand, shrug of the shoulders, who cares, but those figures might mean a lot more to the smaller clubs.
100%, Gordon. There can't be any question about that, and I would expect if once the fine is levied, it'll be levied at the same level for all three clubs, and it will hurt Motherwell more than it will hurt the big two Glasgow clubs. I don't know whether that will make any difference to the Motherwell supporters who launched the pyro at the semi-final game against Rangers. I don't know that, but I'm quite sure the people in charge at your club are just as anti-pyro as they are at Celtic and Rangers at the minute, because it's going to hit them hard in the coffers, and there'll be one. I'm sure the hierarchy at Celtic and Rangers are concerned about what might be planned for next week, but I just hope the supporters who are planning this take a moment and heed the advice of Brendan Rodgers and Philippe Clement yesterday, because there are genuine safety concerns. Brendan Rodgers expressing concerns for the safety not just of other supporters round about the ones with the pyro, but for his own players. Listen to what Fraser's saying about people who have been injured overseas. You know, that can happen here, and you would hate to think it would take something like that to happen here before people woke up to the dangers of it.
I always worry about people that are in and around that area when they're going off. When you're young, sometimes you don't see the dangers, you don't see or think of other people. But that's a concern for me, for supporters, especially our own supporters.
First, it's not safe. Secondly, it costs a lot of money. And we want to use that money in a better way, that we can do the right things with the squad, that the squad becomes better and the fans can be more happy with the squad. So, again, clear message that it doesn't help in any sense towards the team.
My fear is they are fighting a losing battle, because the pyrotechnics are carried out by an antisocial element who have no interest in Philippe Clement's feelings or Brendan Rodgers' feelings, and I have to disagree with Fraser. I don't think it is a great sight. It's a pain in the neck, and it will be disruptive before the cup final, because both Celtic and Rangers have an element within their support who will not be told what to do, and something extreme will have to happen before it is done away with.
It can be a great sight and a pain in the neck at the same time. They can coexist. But anyway, let's see what today has in store for us on the pitch. Lots coming up, and we go back round the grounds next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
We are 15 minutes away from kick-off across the country. 5 big Premiership games, and of course lots of you in this part of the world will be drawn to Celtic against Hibs. Andrew McLean is there, and Andrew, I suppose this just becomes, these games, a test of Celtic's sort of desire and commitment. And most people expect that they are favourites, they've got the best players and all that sort of stuff, but the hunger levels that we witnessed against Ross County, it looks like a team that constantly goes out there knowing that there's a reserve cast behind them waiting to take their place.
Yeah, it's such a big thing when you look at the quality. No matter what Celtic do in terms of changing the team up that's on the pitch, that's on the bench, it means that none of these players are going to get complacent. They know that if they're not playing to the level that Brendan Rodgers thinks they're capable of, then they're going to find themselves on the bench, whether it's for a midweek game, whether it's for a big cup final coming up next weekend. So many massive matches that all of these players want to play in, want to be involved in, and they've got so many players in each position that can come in and fill those gaps when there are them. So these players will know that they have to go out here today against a team that are second bottom of the league, and they can't be complacent. They need to go out and show that desire that they had against Ross County. Go and score as many goals as they can. Make sure to win the game first and foremost. Put the pressure on the likes of Aberdeen and Rangers, of course, who play tomorrow. Try and extend that gap at the top of the table, but to keep their place in this starting lineup. The likes of Luke McCowan, who will be desperate to play as many games as he possibly can for Celtic, in for just his 4th league start today. He'll want to be starting every single game, but when you look at the likes of Rio Hatate, Arne Engels, who they paid £11 million for, and plenty of other players in that area of the pitch who are all vying for those positions, they all know they're looking over their shoulders, and we'll see what they can do today.
Yeah, and the one position, well, there are a couple, but one of the ones that Celtic fans seem a bit torn on, Mark, is the fullback one, because Greg Taylor's getting all sorts of stick against Bruges, and Vai comes on and changes the game, but then he plays the next game and maybe it's not quite there, and Taylor comes on at Pittodrie and sets up the goal. So still, but it feels like that's one of the areas that's really all to play for.
It is, but I still think Greg Taylor's ahead, purely because the way he plays in Celtic's system. I think he's so important. Now, I get Alex Vai is very good in the ball, very comfortable, and you'd expect him to be that coming from Barcelona, but I think the way Taylor plays that inverted role is crucial to what the success that Celtic get at the top end of the pitch. You've just seen it the other night. He almost goes over inverted for the goal, and it's so difficult to pick up. You see actually Duke, I think it is at the time, is it Duke? And he's looking, should I go with him? No, I'll leave him to somebody else, and that creates the opening. So he edges it just now, but it's incredible, Gordon. I'm the same as you. He still gets so much stick from Celtic supporters. One stray pass and they're on his back. They have to appreciate what they've got there. But it's a great problem for Brendan Rodgers to have, because he knows, like the other night, if Alex Valley isn't on it, he can opt for Taylor.
Celtic against Hibs, of course, at Celtic Park, St Mirren, Motherwell. David Field, obviously, from a personal perspective, but even putting that to one side, quite fascinated by the position Motherwell find themselves in, because they're 6th, and let's be honest, that is absolutely fine for Motherwell. And yet you're seeing manager must go type stuff on social media. Maybe that's just a societal thing in 2024, I don't know, but he really could be doing with turning something around soon.
Yeah, he could, Gordon. It seems, listen, from the outside looking in, I sometimes feel that Motherwell fans are a bit quick to jump on Stuart Kettlewell, as you said, sitting 6th just now, 19 points, pretty similar records to St Mirren with a game in hand. They've also got a game in hand on Dundee above them. I think Motherwell, we speak about the clean sheets, they need to tighten things up. I actually think they just need to find someone up front that's maybe going to score 10 to 15 goals this season. Maswanisi is the top scorer in the league just now for Motherwell, 3 goals only. Badly missed Theo Bair. He replaced the goals of Kevin Van Veen. I think if Stuart Kettlewell can find someone, maybe it is Stamatopoulos, who can get in the goals week in, week out, then it will make a big change. But look, as I said earlier, I don't think it's doom and gloom for Motherwell, but I do understand with the last 3 performances why fans are starting to ask questions. Maybe the team and Stuart Kettlewell have just raised expectations, but this is clearly a big one just now, because Stuart spoke during the week actually about stopping the rot and stopping the bleeding. Well, this is a big chance to do that against St Mirren. But we speak about St Mirren, I know they're also looking at it as a chance to get back into the top 6. So yeah, good one ahead here, but I think there's pressure on both sides.
Yeah, the number one target in the playing squad amongst the Motherwell fans seems to be Jair Tavares, and he's kept his place at right wing back, so quite a task for him today to win over some of the doubters.
Yeah, it is, and I must admit, Gordon, having watched him for Hibs and then for Motherwell, I never had him down as a right wing back, where I'm led to believe he's playing today. I don't really see it with him, I'll be brutally honest with you. I don't really know what position is his best one. He's flattered to deceive every time I've seen him. I can understand again why the Motherwell fans are asking questions about that, but look, Stuart Kettlewell has taken players, played them in different positions and got the best out of them, so I think you probably need to trust his judgment in that. But yeah, he's slightly different to Stephen O'Donnell, let's say that. Stephen O'Donnell been on the bench today, but yeah, Tavares has been the subject of some criticism, we'll see how he gets on today against a very good player in Scott Tanser.
Let's go to Tannadice, because Roger Hannah, you like me were working at Ibrox midweek. It on the pitch looked like a very un-Derek McInnes-like performance from his team, and you could almost sense his demeanour, his mood, the hoarse voice that he had after that. He'd had a long discussion with his players and really wanted to try and fix this, because sometimes you can go to Ibrox, you can go to Celtic Park, you lose heavily, you park it, you move on, but I think people had higher hopes for this Killie team, that being difficult to play against.
Yeah, very much so. It's odd, Gordon. I did the corresponding fixture at the end of September, a 3-3 draw at Rugby Park, and that was at the end of a run of 7 without a win for Kilmarnock. And people at that stage were saying, well, they've had a great Euro run, that took a lot of energy out of them. They played Cercle Bruges, Tromsø, they played Copenhagen. Once they got all that out of the way, they'll be fine. But if you look at the teams below them in the league, Hibs and Hearts, if they were to spend money in January and get themselves out of that, where does that leave Kilmarnock? And the defence is a real worry. I think it's now 23 goals lost in 9 away games this season. Stuart Finley's out long term, and as well as losing 6 at Ibrox, Robbie McCrory's made 5 good saves. They just couldn't stop crosses into the box. They couldn't deal with it all. And Derek was absolutely exasperated when he came in to speak to the media after the game, having had a very lengthy post-mortem as you.
We lost Roger Hannah, but we got the gist of it. We were nearly there. We were nearly finished with the Kilmarnock analysis, I think. So let's go to Tynecastle and speak to Fraser, because Fraser, I'm fascinated by Hearts' position. Of course they're bottom of the league, of course that's not good enough, of course they're not getting wins, but actually when you look at the 10 games now that Neil Critchley has been in charge of, I'm not convinced he's actually had any terrible results within that 10 games. The games he's lost have all been against Celtic, Rangers, Bruges, Heidenheim. The games he's drawn have been against Aberdeen and in a derby. So I wonder if this is the first time, game number 11, where there's actually a real sort of pressure and expectation on Hearts at home to Dundee to get the job done, and nothing less than a win will satisfy the fans. Oh, he's not there either. Good. Just talk to myself.
You've done well. You answered all his questions.
It's a 90-second long question.
The real problem for Hearts, and I thought it was...
but I think we can just about hear him now. Fraser, take it away. Oh, nice. Sounds like a robot.
Somebody's cracked on my joke.
Sounds like a Dalek.
They had their AGM in the week, and Andrew McKinley, the CEO, started talking about analytics and how it might take Hearts to a position where they challenge for the title. I would have kept that one to myself at the moment when you're bottom of the league. People don't want to hear your pie in the sky talk. The real problem is the Shankland factor. 1 goal all season long. No one to help Shankland. Even forced into taking penalty kicks in Europe when no one else can stand up and...
Oh, he's a penalty taker though.
Well, you know, at that stage, I'd have been
forced
looking...
him.
I'd have
forced him.
No, I'd have been looking at someone else to take the burden off him. But anyway...
But you've got to start scoring, Hugh, and it was a great opportunity, so I can totally take on board. If I was Shanklin, I would have grabbed the ball. I'm saying I'm taking that penalty kick. So I know what you're saying, but I just think you've got to start scoring goals, and that was a great opportunity.
The Shanklin factor is the number one reason why Hearts are bottom of the league. And I take your point, Gordon, about today being very important, because if you don't get it against Dundee, and there's no reason why Tony Docherty should be in any way apprehensive. He's doing a terrific job at Dens Park. But if they don't get a home win against Dundee, I think the crowd turn today.
Let's get ready, because the 3 o'clock kickoffs are coming up next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Minutes away from kick-off in our 3 o'clock game, so let's go back to Celtic Park and build up there with Andrew McLean.
Yeah, despite the cold conditions, I think these Celtic fans will have been turning up today and turning up to whichever stadium Celtic are playing at, with a spring in their step at the moment, expecting a win, expecting good football, and maybe expecting them to just continue to pull away at the top of the table with the way things are going at the moment. We mentioned it earlier on, but a lot of the intrigue does come in the way of team selection. Brendan Rodgers ringing the changes again today. Cameron Carter-Vickers is rested. He's normally seen as such a big miss and has been over the years, but Trusty and Scales, they've proven they can be a real strong partnership when they're together. There's been a lot of clamour amongst the support for Luke McCowan, who's in the starting lineup today. Maybe a few question marks as well midweek, why, you know, during such a vital game against Aberdeen, that £11 million of Arne Engels only played the last few minutes of that match, so he'll be hoping that he can go out and put on a bit of a show today as well. The team's making their way out the tunnel at the moment. Hibs, of course, the opponents, they got that big win last weekend against Motherwell. This, I can guarantee, is not the game David Gray would have handpicked to have afterwards, because they would really be wanting to try and build some momentum and try and, you know, work their way up the table after that 3-0 win. To come up against Celtic at Celtic Park, certainly not ideal. A huge test of their character today, and every single game still absolutely vital for David Gray at the moment. He of course had that sort of dreaded public vote of confidence, didn't he, a few weeks ago. They got a draw against Aberdeen, they got that win against Motherwell. Can they do anything against Celtic today? I'll just read you through the teams as the players shake hands with each other and the officials. Kasper Schmeichel in goal for Celtic today. The back four: Alistair Johnson, Austin Trusty, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. The three in midfield: Callum McGregor, Arne Engels and Luke McCowan, Nicholas Kuhn and Dyson Maeda either side of Adam Ida. For Hibs, David Gray has found a bit of success after changing formation. He's now gone for a 3 at the back, 5 at the back, which has worked in the last couple of matches. Warren O'Hora, Rocky Bushiri and Jack Iredale are the three central defenders. Lewis Miller, the right wing back. Jordan Obita is the left wing back. Nectar Triantis and Joe Newell, the two central midfielders. Normally they've been playing with one in behind, two strikers, but just with a selection today, I think it probably will be a front three, or maybe just more of a flat midfield four. Mikola Kuharevich will be the lone striker. Eli Yuan and Nicky Cadden in the wide areas for David Gray's side today. The referee is Chris Graham. The VAR is Ewan Anderson. The Celtic players in their huddle at the moment. Callum McGregor giving the final words to his players as they look to go out and try and get another victory in what is a very busy month, a very vital week. They look to try and get that Champions League qualification to the knockout round, to that playoff round, sealed up this week if they can, when they take on Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia on Tuesday, and of course a huge cup final at Hampden against Rangers on Sunday. But for now, the focus is Hibs. It's here at Celtic Park, and we are just about to get underway.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Planning your holiday? Get essential health advice and medication before you travel.
Right, come on then. Amaze the nation with how bad you are at your predictions. You three, give us your 5-game Saturday ACCA just for a bit of fun and bragging rights. Go.
Celtic, home win. St Mirren, home win. Dundee United, home win. Aberdeen, home win. Hearts versus Dundee, draw.
I'll go Celtic home win, but I don't think it'll be as comfortable as it was last week against Ross County. A draw, St Mirren, Motherwell. I'm going to go for a Kilmarnock away win. I think
that's a big one.
I think it'll be a big turnaround for Derek McInnes' side today. Hearts home win and an Aberdeen home win.
Gordon, I'm going to go Celtic.
That directed at somebody, was it?
Celtic, St Mirren, Dundee United, Kilmarnock draw, Hearts home win, Aberdeen home win.
Okay, there we go. Let's settle back and enjoy whatever Saturday afternoon has in store. Celtic Park, clearly a big focus to see if Celtic can stretch their lead. Aberdeen can stay where they are in second. I know what Hugh Keevins means in Glasgow speak. It's stretching the lead over Rangers, and then they have the chance to respond at Ross County tomorrow. But big games everywhere you look. We're talking about Motherwell needing something, Kilmarnock needing something. If Hearts are going to pick up the way lots of people expect them to, no disrespect to Dundee, but a home game against Dundee would be the type of occasion you would look to do that in. So there is so much at stake. Sam Dalby's headed wide after just 14 seconds though, so Kilmarnock on the back foot early on. The Scottish Premiership Player of the Month, Sam Dalby.
Well, I've said a number of weeks here how good a signing
huge chance for Hibs. Kukarevich straight through 1-on-1 and saved by Kasper Schmeichel. Straight from the halfway line, straight through, and the goalkeeper had to make the save. So bit of a early warning sign for Celtic that not many people would have expected.
Well, I'd be taking Trusty and Scales off and
get Cara Vickers back on.
It's a Hibs corner.
Yeah, it's a good start, good positive start. I think that Hibs will take a lot of confidence for last week's result against Motherwell. This is a different task, of course it is, but when you get opportunities, especially early on at Celtic Park, you've got to take them, got to make the most of them.
Kasper Schmeichel, I think I'm right in saying 11 clean sheets in 14 games for Celtic in the league, and he had another good game at Pittodrie midweek. He has been a massive signing for Celtic. He's even older than Joe Hart, the man he replaced, but he's having the proverbial Indian summer in goal. Top class signing for Celtic.
An early warning sign, yeah. You need to be guarded against that. And
Schmeichel then forced into another save. Nicky Cadden's half volley from the edge of the box, he spilled it, and then it was cleared away. So Hibs very much on the front foot.
It wouldn't be the first time though Celtic have started sloppily at Celtic Park. Remember a few games they conceded a few chances early on, so watch what they're doing.
But when you're Hibs, you've got to capitalise. You know, if Celtic start slowly, you get an opportunity. 1-1 the goalkeeper. Celtic's point of view, terrific goalkeeping. From Hibs' point of view, you've got to take them. You've got to take their chances. Golden chance at Celtic Park.
Well, if you're a Celtic player who thinks he should be in the team, and then you are in the team, and then you get sloppy, then you have no complaint when you're back out the team. But Celtic will have to reset because today is too important for them. It would be a real bad omission if they were to drop anything at home after what they did at Pittodrie in midweek.
Yeah, it's going to be a test, this one again for them, because everybody just expects them to go and steamroller teams, but you know, no game is easy. They made easy work of Ross County last week, but
Sam Dalby's hit the post now for Dundee United. He's not hanging about. Chance for a St Mirren free kick to be delivered into the box. A handball by Andy Halliday. Sorry Mark, as you were saying.
No, I'm just saying that it's never easy, these games, especially the Hibs. finding a wee bit of form, they're always likely to slip up and maybe a mistake at the back, but they carry a threat going forward. But I think, like I said at the start, I think Celtic will win this, but I don't think it'll be as comfortable as people.
First goal is always important, Mark. If Celtic can, weather the storm just now, Hibs have had a good start to it. Of course, they have made the best chances. But if Celtic get the first goal, that belief in the head seem to go down, especially at Celtic Park. So it's important that, they won't panic. Like they'll play patient football. They'll dominate most of the ball. It's just getting the first goal.
Yeah, who would have thought? First few minutes it's all Hibs with the chances, but I'm sure Celtic will try and do something up the other end very soon indeed. Still Hibs though. Ellie Ewan with a shot, this time gathered by Kasper Schmeichel. So they've started very, very quickly indeed, have the visitors. Why don't we start quickly as well, Hugh Keevins, if you're ready?
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Topical question with the Premier Sports Cup final just a week away. Since the 2014-2015 tournament, 6 players have scored in the semi-final and the final of the same Scottish League Cup. Since 2014-2015, 6 players have scored in the semi-final and the final of the same Scottish League Cup.
Let me stop you right there. Hibs have been chapping at the door. We've got a goal at Celtic Park.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's Celtic 1, Hibs 0. It's Arnie Engels in at the front post. If you're Hibs, you're probably wondering what on earth you need to do. They've started very brightly, but it's no surprise really over the piece that Celtic are the team to go in front, and it's the man whose questions have been surrounding his inclusion in the team, Arnie Engels. 6 minutes on the clock, steals in at the front post and finds the back of the net.
That ought to do wonders for his confidence on a personal level. He must be aware of people being bemused by some of the displays and feeling that he should be doing more to justify the fee. The fee is not set by the player, of course. So that's a terrific start for Arne Engels, and Celtic have regrouped after Kasper Schmeichel was forced into keeping them in the match early on.
It sums Hibs up a little bit this season. They got off to a good start, they've creating chances, but you just know that first goal's coming. They can't defend properly. Engels, he'll take a lot of confidence for that. He's a very good player. There's no doubt about it. Yes, he's went off the boil a little bit. He's a young lad. He's learning the Scottish game. He's got his opportunity this afternoon, and he's certainly taking it.
Yeah, he could have been doing with that. I mean, I wonder if he's taken back by some of the scrutiny coming this way. He'll probably not be used to the pressure it comes. Won the price tag, but being at a club like Celtic. So, more goals like that, more assists he gets, then obviously the better for him early on in his Celtic career. But that's right, Hibs just can't defend. They can't defend in wide areas. I highlighted it before the game. A beater coming back in the side. If you go to Celtic Park, it's okay creating a few chances in the first few minutes, that's great, but you're going to have to defend for the majority. You can't just allow people to cross the ball.
It's such a simple goal. See, if you're David Gray, you're looking at your defenders and thinking, we can't lose. You've got to be down the bottom of the league if you're losing goals like that week in, week out. You got a great boost last week against Motherwell, 3-0 at Fir Park. I know this is a different situation today, but if you're defending like that, it doesn't matter.
Trying to say Arnie Engels is better than Andy Halliday, is that what you're getting at here?
I don't know. I think the two of them in the same par, if I'm honest.
Celtic are ticking now. Luke McCowan's hit the crossbar. It was a cutback from Daisen Maeda, and Luke McCowan trying to get in on the act. Remember last week it was 5 within 40 minutes, and Celtic didn't even start that quickly there, so Hibs will need to be careful. At St Mirren, Kiltie's had a turn and volley deflected wide. They're the team with the most of the chances so far, the hosts. Did you finish that teaser, Hugh?
Yeah,
that's fine.
I'll quickly run through it though. Since 2014-2015, 6 players have scored in the semi-final and final of the same League Cup. Who are they?
Good question. Really like that question. And it's at Clyde SSB. It is a race, so you need 1 tweet, 6 correct answers, and to do it faster than everyone else. So get going at Clyde SSB. And I always say though, the more the merrier taking part. If you don't think you can get all 6, just chuck a few names at us and we'll try and give you a mention as well. Hearts have started well. One of the high points for them has been the form of James Penrice. I know they're bottom of the league, but he looked a very good signing since coming from Livy. He's had a low cross. Musa's left-footed volley just wide. So they've started brightly. Celtic are in front. St Mirren have had a couple of sniffs. Aberdeen have started brightly without creating much, and we are properly up and running.
I'd have been great for Mark and I if this was the week we were going our Christmas party into Glasgow. 2 minutes.
Lovely. Yeah.
2 minutes.
I've had enough of Glasgow after last night.
Daniel O'Donnell standing next to me.
I was walking about soaked with that velvet jacket on.
Velvet jacket and
you were very
polar neck.
No.
Honestly, there's nothing like him to bring you down. You were chuffed with your velvet jacket, your polo neck, your hair swept over to the side, and he's calling you Daniel O'Donnell as soon as you walked in.
That's the first thing he said. I like your jacket, you look like Daniel O'Donnell. I thought, that's not a compliment.
That's a compliment. He's a housewife's favourite. That was a big compliment. You were looking suave last night.
No, the real housewife's favourite was Marty Pello at the Cash for Kids lunch. Did you feel
his big purple suit on?
You a bit threatened? You like to think of yourself as the housewife's favourite. You didn't get a look in when Marty was around.
Not at all. And look, I'm quite happy to play second fiddle to Marty. He was very good. I really enjoyed his set. And it was a fantastic day and raised some great money for Cash for Kids.
The thing is, Hugh, as well, I hope he doesn't mind. I hope he's not got an ego, because the fact that you were there means he was the second most famous person from Clydebank at the Cash for Kids lunch yesterday.
And he knows that.
That's fine.
Inwardly he knows that. I'll never forget the day my daughter poured a full glass of Coca-Cola over him by accident. They were about to sponsor Clydebank, and Clydebank wore wet on their shirts, and they launched the idea. And my daughter was so excited at meeting Marty Pello, she spilled the Coke all over he had a Mississippi Gambler red suit on.
I was a wee bit.
I'm sure he's over it.
I was a wee bit disappointed I didn't get asked up to do a duel with
after your karaoke video went viral.
Can I get the audio of Gordon Dalziel singing karaoke? We used it on Thursday night show.
Karaoke, it was live.
It was karaoke. It was live band.
Oh, you're with a band.
His timing was brilliant.
Texas.
For anyone who missed it on Thursday, we have to get it out there again. It was fantastic. I was very impressed with you, so I'll play that at some point.
I'm getting a lot of good feedback yesterday from it. A lot of people coming up and asking.
You did make a brief appearance on stage last night at Cash for Kids.
Oh, do you know, I was just too early for the real punchline and for Cash for Kids. But
did you go up on the stage?
I guess part of the aye or no game.
Oh, I must have missed
the
this.
Question. And I don't know if our listeners have any opinion on this. Aye or no, Gordon Dalziel once snogged Sanika?
Yes. Alright, I don't even need to hear the name.
I feel for not at all. I'm not in that league.
He told me.
So people had to guess yes or no to that, and then sit
some
down.
People were guessing yes.
That's believable. Yeah.
I went, look, I've not snogged her.
He told me what was going to be the punchline, and let me tell you, there was no too early or too late. It was a career-ending punchline.
Listen, he's been skating on thin ice for a long time, quite frankly. So I'm glad you survived. Just don't say anything else, okay? Just don't, because you'll get yourself in trouble.
It was a fantastic day, I've got to say.
Over £400,000 raised for Cash for Kids, so really brilliant, fantastic stuff. And of course, we've still got the text competition running as well. I'll maybe tell you more about that later on in the show. What else have we got here? Any updates coming in? Not yet. Still that Celtic goal where they lead Hibs by an Arnie Ingles strike to 0. Now look, McCowan has hit the bar as well. What a game, really, because Hibs had a good few early chances, believe it or not, and in many ways could and should have been one in front, but it's Celtic that are one in front, and all of a sudden they will be fearing the worst. Hibs. Motherwell now getting a bit more of the ball, trying to get balls in to the box. It really has to be Gordon. I take David Field's point, because you are wondering where the goals come from. First of all, it was how do you replace Van Veen? No problem. Theo Bair. Then how do you replace Theo Bair? But really, Motherwell's defending in the last 2 games. 7 goals conceded, and most of them disastrous.
I watched the highlights against Dundee midweek, and I thought middle to front Motherwell played very well, created a few chances, really did. I watched them against Hibs at Fir Park, and their defending was absolutely shocking. So look, I look at this situation now. Stuart Kettlewell's coming in for a bit of stick, and that's just the modern day game now. You go 2 games without a win, and all of a sudden people are wanting to manage her out. It's incredible. He's sitting in the top 6. Yes, the results of late haven't been that great. I think this is a big game for him today. It'll be difficult against St Mirren, who are right in their heels. They're sitting in 7th, 1 point behind. They'll need to dig in deep, but they'll need to defend better.
Ball over the top for Adam Ida. His touch, though, he's just kind of on the turn. It's a bit close to Jordan Smith, who gathers. I was going to say, Mark, this next period, we fall into these kind of cliches and say, oh, this next period's important for Hibs, and I'm sure it is, but the last week has taught us of just how quickly things can flip. You look at Celtic the other night, Rangers, first and foremost, the other night, it's kind of 1-0, and all of a sudden it's just maybe a 20-minute period where things get really away from you. So and you need to be switched on to that for the entirety of the game.
Yeah, you're right, it can unravel really quickly. Now the problem for Hibs is to get that wee taste of going up the pitch, and you obviously try and nick something early in the game, but you end up stretched and leaving huge spaces, and in the big pitch at Celtic Park with those quality players, you're going to concede chances. But that's you're right, 10 minutes, you look at last week, Hibs would have done their analysis on last week's game. I'm pretty sure they would have looked at some of the goals Ross County conceded and some of the movements and patterns that Celtic had in that game. That could quite easily happen here today, and it's taking that sort of form on just now. Ida probably should have scored there to make it 2, so Hibs have to be really careful just to hang in there.
Stuart Kettlewell's getting a bit frustrated. Lennon Miller's flighted 2 free kicks into the box. They've gone straight out of play. Neither goalkeeper troubled so far at Pittodrie. Aberdeen against St Johnstone. Got some goals going in down the leagues. East Fife 1, Elgin 0, and Queen's Park 1, Airdrie 0. Airdrie just look destined to lose every single
What's happened
game.
to them?
Dom Thomas with the goal there after 14 minutes. What about the Championship? What's jumping out at you today? We always tend to start with you.
I think Falkirk and Wraith is a very good game.
Falkirk 1 up, by the way.
Okay, I fancy Falkirk there. And obviously Ayr United and Partick 3rd and 4th respectively. That'll be a good game, especially Partick after last week's disappointment get put out of the cup. They're sitting there behind Ayr United in 4th place, so
really could do a win. By all accounts, Thistle played really well last week. Could have been 2, 3, 4 up, and they didn't take their chances.
The office staff telling you that?
Well, that's Big Brian was telling us. He says he was magnificent, but he missed too many chances.
Big Brian and Graham hangs about with you quite a lot, doesn't he?
We're pals, old
every
teammates.
Saturday. Better concentrate on his training.
They're both the same age. That's it.
Are they?
Yeah.
What age are you?
40.
He's not
40. Brian's got a few years left, but could do a win there. Just to
so
make up the points
I bought
difference.
You a present, didn't I? For your 40th.
You did,
Yeah, I remember.
What did you get me again?
Can't remember.
Scotland top. Got me a Scotland top for the Euros. Love it.
Another chance for Hibs there. Abita down the right, picks out Joe Newell in the box. He's sort of on the stretch though and skies it over. Not a sitter by any stretch of the imagination, but probably should have done better there. I see Thistle are having a bit of a whinge, if that's the right phrase, about the kick-off time for Hogmanay.
Oh, by the way,
what time is it?
3 o'clock in the day on Hogmanay.
It's not a public holiday.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. It's not a public holiday.
There's no other
Everybody
games
will be
on.
at work. So both clubs had to agree on a day, and they couldn't agree on it. But apparently the league said it had to be played before the end of the year, and they've ended up, even though 2 of them are out the cup, so they could have played it in January the 18th or something, round about that. But Hogmanay, so the fans not pleased at all. Strange one.
I think they'll get a good crowd of that.
3 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think they might. Just have no idea why.
So.
Well, so you're saying it's not a public holiday?
I don't think it's a public holiday.
But will there not still be enough people off
Yeah,
for
of
whatever
course
reason?
there will be.
The people
I'll
not
be
just
fascinated to see.
Christmas and New Year.
Not everyone gets the luxury, but
I'm
some
not
people
sure
would
if I
try.
wanted to go down to Greenock on Hogmanay.
It's not be Greenock.
Or is it away from home? Oh,
away from home, yeah.
That Joe Newell chance, by the way, just hearing a bit more about it, I think he, again, I'm not putting it in sitter territory, but really Hibs would be looking to get level on a chance like that. Steve Seddon's had a high boot on Elvis.
Oh,
Bomono. There's only one Elvis around here though. Gordon Dalziel, as you've never heard them before. Thinking, Hugh, we discovered this during the week. Someone sent me an old video of Gordon
Well, Elvis is a long time dead, but he'll still be biddling in his grave.
Had the white suit and everything on.
Oh dear.
Nah, I'm only kidding. No.
I think you're quite good. I think you're alright at that.
Absolutely delighted to discover it, and as I said, it was uploaded to YouTube 18 years ago apparently. It must have been one of the first videos ever uploaded to that website, and there you are, it features Gordon Dalziel.
Where were you?
I was in Kirkcaldy, and I was asked by the band to go up and do a song with them, and obviously me being the shy type of guy that I am, I was right up there.
They won't know in Kirkcaldy yet that Elvis has passed away.
Were you managing at that point?
I was the manager, yeah.
You were the manager.
I led by example.
Oh, no wonder they got rid of you. Bringing the club into disrepute.
I'll tell you what, I brought so much joy to those people at Kirkcaldy that day. Sunday afternoon, never.
It was a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, it was a Sunday afternoon.
Oh yeah,
that was a good day.
That's why you were on stage.
We have a teaser up and running, Hugh, if you could remind your adoring public of the question.
Yes, since 2014-2015, 6 players have scored in the semi-final and the final of the same Scottish League Cup. Who are they?
I really like that question. I'm very much enjoying it. Bailey thinks Cameron Carter-Vickers.
No.
What about Borna Barisic?
Not there.
Amanda wants to throw in a few names that you would almost expect, but I think they're wrong as well. Hugh Kyogo.
Nope.
Forrest.
Nope.
Edward.
No.
None of these players have done this.
Oh, right.
Better get him out.
Incredible. It's quite an impressive list. Lennon Miller's cross, Balcombe punches clear, Andy Halliday's in there trying to make a nuisance of himself. Tavares hits the bar, but the foul was already given, so it stays St Mirren 0, Motherwell 0. It's 0-0 Aberdeen, St Johnstone and Hearts Dundee and Dundee United Kilmarnock. The only goal comes at Celtic Park, and despite big chances for Hibs, it is Arnie Engels. Here is a goal that will interest you, I promise.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Throw some guesses at me quickly.
Shankland.
Yes, Lawrence Shankland.
Are you seen it up there?
Constant scrutiny for chances missed and no goals scored, or only one so far. What a relief. You can almost hear the sigh of relief from here. It's a good finish, back post header, one of those where he loops it back across the goal and into the corner. Hearts have the lead, and it feels like the old times, Hugh. It's through Lawrence Shankland.
And only his second goal of the season. The other one came at Tynecastle, belated goal against Ross County there. So that's a major boost for Shankland, and you'd expect the entire team and the entire stadium to get a lift from that. So Tony Docherty and his players have their work cut out.
I'm
now.
delighted for him, Hugh, because I've looked at some of his performances, and apart from the goals which he's known for, his performances have been really good. You know, his link-up play, everything about him has been excellent. But when you're a goal scorer, and especially after the season of last year, you're expected to do it again. It's very, very hard to score goals, and that is brilliant for him this afternoon.
Yeah, you can see the relief on his face, according to Fraser Wishart, even up there in the stands.
He's on it, isn't he?
Those fans,
put his glasses on to see him.
Those fans who had a terrible chant directed at him in Belgium when he missed the penalty kick against Cercle Bruges, I wonder how they're feeling now.
Queen's Park now 2-0 up on Airdrie. Louis Longridge. Airdrie's woes continue. I think we're beyond woes. What's worse than woes? Someone can tell me. Kukarevich is through again for Hibs, but it's a heavy touch and he can't then quite get the shot away. Hibs have had far more chances than anyone would have expected inside the first quarter of this match. They find themselves a goal down and they will be kicking themselves. This
Hibs
time
have created more chances than MD that's went to Celtic Bar this season.
More than Celtic, did they, as well?
Incredible. But if you're going to get something out of the game and you've got this opportunity and you're creating these chances, you've got to take them. Got to take them, or you'll get punished. And that's what happened to them early on.
Yeah, state obviously, you need to take one of those. Unfortunately, Hibs not big goal scorers at all this season. You know, they've got a leaky defence. They've only scored 18 this season. There you go. They've had 3 or 4 good chances in the opening 25 minutes and failed to take any of them. It's the story of their season so far in this 25 minutes.
Celtic have major work to do in Zagreb Tuesday night, and there's a cup final next weekend, and Brendan Rodgers can't just dismiss the kind of defensive laxity that has contributed towards him getting so many chances in the first quarter of the game.
Kukarevic is now down injured though. What an opening to the game he's had. I mean, these are proper chances that he's passed up. Genuinely, he really should have done much better, and he's now down injured as well. So that will be a real frustration for him if that's his afternoon's contribution come to a close.
Yeah, I think it's his pride. It's been injured because he's had 2 glaring chances at Celtic Park.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal at Pittodrie, and it comes for St Johnstone. It's Mackenzie Kirk from close range. There was a cross in from the right. He's been impressive. He's been coming off the bench. He's got a couple of starts, and he's shown exactly why he's been kept in the team by Simo Valakari. It was Smith with the cross, Mackenzie Kirk with the finish. Aberdeen 0, St Johnstone 1. Celtic's lead at the top growing.
Well, yeah, I said to you in the introduction to the programme, has the Jimmy Tilleen bubble burst? 2 points from the last 12. Not to win today would be a major blow for him, a major encouragement for Rangers ahead of the game at Dingwall tomorrow. And really time for a fresh assessment. If he does not get all 3 points, time for a fresh assessment of what's going on.
Yeah, I still think there's plenty of time for him, obviously, to come back. They're at home. There'll be a good crowd in at Pittodrie. I watched them the other night. I thought they've got good players. I thought Celtic deserved to win the game, I've got to say. I thought second half Celtic played well, but they have got good players. They've got a threat, but that's a disappointing start. But well done to St Johnstone. St Johnstone are one of these funny teams. You never know what you're getting with.
Mackenzie Kirk doing well though, because I think everybody thought at the start of the season St Johnstone's main threat was from their front 2, and he wasn't part of it, but he's keeping DB out the side, scoring a couple of goals. Well done.
Doing well.
Looked at them last Sunday against Rangers. I thought St Johnstone were, not that Rangers were any great shakes at all, I thought St Johnstone were poor, and I'm quite taken aback that they're a goal up at Pittodrie.
I just think it's I've never seen a good game at McDermott Park.
I'm with you.
I've never seen a good game. I just, there's something about it.
But actually, the standout one, Celtic earlier on the season, where it was almost
6 up there,
perfect. Yeah. But apart from that,
bad shout from you. That
well, one good performance at Mark.
James Forrest not score 4.5 up there or something as well.
4, yeah.
It was a poor game though.
Great game.
Right, Kukarevic went down, got treatment, came back on, down again, and off he's going to go. So what a frustrating afternoon. He's had 2 proper sitters at Celtic Park, missed them both, and Hibs trail, off he goes. So there's a change being made. Josh Campbell is coming on in Paisley. Conor McMenamin smashed a shot off the bar from a tight angle, but that's a blow for Hibs because they clearly had a vision in mind for how Kukarevic's performance would go, and it's gone that way up to a point. Just the finishing touch.
He's caused them problems, he's caused them problems. He's been through twice, 1-1 with the goalkeeper. But I've got to say, you can excuse him for missing maybe one, but when you're through twice, 1-1 with the goalkeeper, you've got to take one of the chances as a striker.
I think Clyde will knock them out the Scottish Cup at Easter Road. I think the Bankies have been looking at this and thinking, yes, we can take them.
Who are they playing today, Hugh, the Bankies?
St Roch's.
St Roch's. At home, because I've seen them all there.
At the Stadio Yoka.
Is that a cup game?
A league game, I thought.
Is it? I saw them all walking in much like Gordon Dalziel, I have to say. I saw them making the
great
trip along the road.
Absolutely great thing for Clyde to be back inside a Premiership ground. It's a real reminder of the past. I was delighted when I saw the draw.
I used to like playing at Kilbilly.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the dressing rooms were terrible, but I liked playing it because it was very closed in. It was a great venue to go and play.
I think they might be getting beat 4-3, or are they winning 4-3? It's 4-3 anyway. So, 4-3, 4-3 down.
Entertaining game.
Yeah.
Nearly done as well, nearly finished.
Started so well, Clydebank this season. They went that long time without being beat.
See, they're missing my family. They're all the way up the Highlands to see the other part of the family.
St Mirren back on top in Paisley. Kilty with a good chance to cross, but messes it up, and frustrating for Stephen Robinson. Reminder of your question, please, Shug.
In season 2014-2015, 6 players have scored in the semi-final and the final of the same Scottish League Cup.
You can always tell a good question by the number of wrong answers. Amanda wants to throw in Alfredo Morelos.
Amanda's really trying hard.
I've just finished the S when you said Morelos.
What about Chris Kane of St Johnstone?
No.
Jamie Dock would like to suggest Johnny Hayes.
Not there.
Greg's Gardens would like to go for Tom Rogic.
No.
Okay, what about Paul Hanlon?
No.
Right, you've got about 10 minutes left, so get your thinking caps on. Send us some tweets at Clyde SSB. It's a very, very difficult question. Some of you getting to grips with it, I have to say, but pretty tough out there. Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel struggling.
No, I've got one.
Have you?
Yeah.
You've got one, there are 6.
I know, but we've got 5 here, Hugh. So I
think that one there.
Here we are, and I'll give you.
Okay.
I think this is a guy.
You know, people are listening to you on the radio at this point. It doesn't really work, you know, when you two are just talking amongst yourselves.
Oh, we have to converse somehow or find a way.
And obviously we're not live streaming on a Saturday. Did you hear about last night? If you've not seen it, go and check out our Instagram, my Instagram, Super Scoreboards, Clyde Ones, whatever, and you will see it. Scott Allen has done what I thought. I must admit, I thought someone would have done it already, but Scott Allen smashed the TV in the fancy new studio, Hugh Keevins. It is a tight squeeze behind that desk. He obviously was just lost without you on a Friday night. He rolled the chair back, it got stuck against the TV. Right at the start of the show. I mean 30 seconds in, so I'm trying to do my intro, and then just out the corner of my eye I can just see a big black line appearing down the TV. And it's gone. It's absolutely gubbed.
The thing is, Scott's an albatross. You know, he's already done his wrist this season, and then he injured his eye, and now he's got 3. Bad trouble comes in 3s, and now he's broken the telly.
Oh, big miss for Celtic this time. Kuhn's ball across the face. It looks like Ida had kind of open goal, but it sort of hit off him, went in the wrong direction. Now a VAR check for a potential handball for Celtic. A fairly quick one though, no penalty there. Decision, on you go.
Well, just get Ida off and get Kiwi go on.
So Scotty having to put his hand in his pocket, has he?
You break the TV, you've got to pay for it.
Or just bring one in for home.
Well, the wages aren't great in here, so you'll need to do about 10 shows, I think. 40 shows.
I was going to say more than 10.
For free to make up for the TV. Got another one of these for you.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Gorgie buses, Hugh Keevins. Gorgie buses. Lawrence Shankland again. Imagine it. Lawrence Shankland on a hat-trick inside half an hour after being criticised for his lack of goals. Hearts 2, Dundee 0 after 31 minutes, and it is Lawrence Shankland.
Red letter day for a man in maroon. So
it's incredible that for strikers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really incredible. You'd imagine now he'll go on a run. He'll probably score in the next 3-4 games, just to get that sort of a first. Well, I know he scored 1 goal up until then, but to get the first goal today, then the confidence is oozing out you. You're looking for every opportunity. I wouldn't put it by him to get the hat-trick.
He's 3 goals off being the top scorer in the Scottish Premiership, by the way. Just for what it's worth, because the leader only has 6. That's Shankland up to 3. So I don't know what that says about the overall.
And is the leader McGregor?
Yeah, now level with Dessers and Chernan.
Here's one. How many's Kyogo scored this year
in the league?
Yeah,
I think he's got about 4.
Because all this stick that Shankland
5,
has
not
got.
5. He's got 5 in the league.
Okay.
You took Dessers to be top scorer in the league. People were laughing at you. He's still joint top.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what,
not even starting games anymore.
He's got that little kick now that he's looking at Danilo and Igamani, and he's thinking, right, I need to, when I go on the pitch, I need to put the ball in the back of the net. He's concentrating a lot more. So
the list is outrageous. Cherny, Dessers and McGregor on 6, and then a whole host: Clark, Dalby, Kyogo, Papagay, Ronan Hale, Adamida, Kim Pioka, Kuhn, McCowan, Olasanya, all on 5.
No outstanding goal scorers just now, isn't there? No.
Nearly 2-0 to St Johnstone. A dinked effort hits off the crossbar. Andy Halliday's getting kicked all over the place. Fouled by Taylor
midweek. Because he got hooked at half time, did he not?
No,
last weekend.
I don't know if I'm allowed to give away his medical history, but there was an
injury.
Injury.
I don't know. To be fair, he might still have been hooked. But
she's hair falling.
He then had to go for some sort of treatment on the Monday.
Okay.
Hence why
let him off with that.
The turkey.
Oh, right, okay.
I think he was going for some sort of injection. Were you not telling me you were going to go for an injection in the new year?
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Someone at the Cash for Kids lunch made you a medical offer you couldn't refuse yesterday.
It certainly did. I had a discussion with my.
You going to go for it?
My surgeon. Yes, certainly. I'm going.
Wow. Keep us posted on how that goes.
That's going to hurt.
You worry.
Clyde 1 Clyde 1 Peterhead 0. Robbie Leach with the goal there for the Bully Wee. And we can get some more answers coming in that teaser as well. It's a very popular question, Hugh. You've got them thinking. You have really got them thinking.
I find that difficult.
Let's do the last set of wrong answers and we'll round it off in about 5 minutes. So go question.
Since the 2014-2015 tournament, 6 players have scored in the semi-final and the final of the same Scottish League Cup. Name them.
Paddy would like to throw in Scott Sinclair.
Not there.
You would think so, wouldn't you? And Duncan would like to throw in Scott Arfield.
No.
Okay. You're getting closer. I can sense it. Lots of you. I can see some full answer sheets there as well. You two, how many do you think you've got?
I think we've got the full house. Have we not?
I don't think he played for that team. The guy that you've guessed.
Show me your paper. I'm interested in this.
I thought he played with that team. Is he one?
This is where you know that he's absolutely at it, because the name's right but the team's wrong.
I thought that.
Honestly,
I thought you played.
You are so transparent. That means somebody's texted you the name, and you've gone, I'll write the team down as well and pretend I know. So you apparently have heard of that guy, but you can't remember what team he played for. Absolute nonsense. So transparent.
Well, you picked the wrong one. It's the same neck of the woods.
Oh, I do know who it is. Sorry.
The Highlands.
Yeah,
I'll give you the Highland clue.
That's county.
That's a good shout. Well done, mate.
Actually, I'm going to write down. I was wrong side of the bridge.
No, you remember those goals well.
I do. One was a great header.
Stirling Albion 0, Edinburgh City 1. Connor Young. It's still Celtic who lead by that goal to 0. Not had it their own way, Hugh, but you just can't sweep everybody aside all the time, I suppose.
No, and you have to credit him, second bottom of the league, going to Celtic Park and playing in the manner in which they are doing. But as I say, Brendan Rodgers cannot be dismissive of the persistent defensive errors that are putting Hibs in.
Such a high line Celtic are playing. But by the way, Hibs are, you have to promote bodies forward to get in behind them, and they've certainly done that. Even when Campbell came on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if Kukarevich going off damages that, or can they still keep it up without him?
Well, they've been in another few times, but it never helps, does it, when Plan A goes out the window so quickly. However, Plan A wasn't working because he'd missed a couple of chances anyway. But David Gray, I think, will be frustrated because his team's done not too badly, defended poorly for a little section and have been punished quite harshly. So again, story of Hibs' season, unfortunately for him so far.
But the story's not over, because if Celtic are playing that high line and are giving Hibs as many chances as they have done, then at some point Hibs get a goal.
Yeah, but the argument there, Hugh, is can Hibs keep Celtic out?
Yeah.
Because you know that you know that the quality of the players that we've got, they're not going to play like that and give up chances for 90 minutes. You know, they're going to they've got to step gears up a little bit, up the gears, and see if they can get the second goal, and the second goal will kill the game.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. Ross County hardly had any chance. In fact, did they? Any chances whatsoever last week? I don't think they did.
Don't recall any.
So Hibs have done their bit up to a point.
Is it the case that when Carter Vickers is not there is
Nah, it's a hard one, because you go to Atalanta with the two centre backs in the back four and get a clean sheet, and they were great that night. So, but they've gave up a lot of chances today. It's just one of those days. They've been a bit slack. I think Brendan Rodgers will have a few harsh words at half time. But I know what you're saying about Carter Vickers. He is a massive player for him, but I don't think you can use that.
His stop midweek at Pittodrie, you know,
crucial.
Yeah, that's an equaliser all day long, but he gets there at the very last second, and by doing so wins Celtic 3 points.
Kelty 0, Alloa 1. Scott Allen breaking TVs on Friday nights and then seeing his team trail on a Saturday. What a bad weekend he's having. Montrose 2, Inverness 0.
Is Scott still play, or is he just
he's been injured with his
broken
wrist?
Yeah, but is he going to come back and just play, or is he going to concentrate?
Once he's paid for the telly.
Yeah. Need to get some win bonuses.
A wee goal bonus maybe today in that one, but it is Alloa that lead Luke Donnelly with the goal. Scored some good goals this season, Luke Donnelly, and he's added to that today 5 minutes before the break.
That league's fascinating,
it's mad. Absolutely mad.
24 points, 22 all the way down to mid-table.
All the way down
still in the mix
to 2 teams who've been deducted points because of administration. Yeah, it's a really interesting division as always. McGarry's driven cross at Pittodrie, no takers there. The Aberdeen fans will be urging their team on, try and get something back before the break. St Johnstone lead. Leighton Clarkson's free kick into the box. There's Nielsen who couldn't get the final touch as well.
Well, we need a couple of goals. Our Sun reporters are not giving us the excitement
I
we're
don't even know
looking
if
for.
Roger Hanna's still there.
No.
I've heard very little from Tannadice.
Well, Dundee United started well, didn't they? But
maybe he's out of breath getting up these stairs. Maybe he's stuck halfway up. Try to get seen through the hole.
It was interesting, Gordon, you brought up the point about Derek McInnes's voice. I listened to it and I thought, has he got a cold? He was absolutely beside himself.
And to be fair, he actually was apologetic, which he doesn't have to be. It really is up to him. He took ages to come in after the game, and you know that way you can just tell when a manager either reading the riot act or really trying to go over what went wrong. He took an age, and then when he came in, his voice was gone. So yeah, I think there's a high chance that he had a bit of ranting to do after the game, which is understandable.
Because Derek gets mentioned in association with the Rangers job so often. Every time Philippe Clement gets a bad result, Derek McInnes' name gets mentioned. But to lose 6-0 at Ibrox, the name won't be getting mentioned much now.
Let's round off the teaser, Hugh. I've given enough time. The standard has been good. We've had a bit of fun, so let's finish.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Since the 2014-2015 tournament, 6 players have scored in the semi-final and the final of the same Scottish League Cup. They are James Tavernier in 2023, Sean Rooney in 2021, Ryan Christie in 2018, Moussa Dembele in 2017 and 2016, Alex Schalk in 2016 and Chris Commons in 2015.
Good list, that. Very good list. I loved that question. You can always tell by the number of wrong answers. You all gave it a good go, some better than others. Interesting VAR check. Arne Engels booked for a foul, but potentially a red. VAR's going to go and have a look. Alex Gogic booked, taking down Andy Halliday. Everybody's getting booked for chopping poor Andy down. What's happening here? Let's give you the podium quickly. In third place, Stephen Lauder. Well done to you, Stephen. Second place was Annie's Land, and the winner is Charlie Bear. On the first half teaser, we'll do a Who Am I after the break. Arne Engels will stay on. Referee not called to the monitor, not considered a clear and obvious error. And on we go. Lennon Miller with a free kick for Motherwell, maybe 20 yards out after Andy Halliday being chopped down by your pal as well, Alex Gogic.
Yeah,
you see him at the school gates this week?
I seen him the other day, chatting away. Very excited about the game today. Looking forward to it.
Honestly,
what was he working on this week?
Set plays.
He's always working on set plays.
Giving them to the opposition by fouling?
No. They were working set plays. They feel like they can cause Motherwell problems from set plays.
Andy Halliday, stay in your lane for goodness sake. He hits the free kick and it goes wide. Just give it to Lennon Miller.
Andy's got a sweet left foot. I can see. I can see Andy maybe popping one of them in.
He popped it into the stand.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not saying today. Maybe around about February, March, when everybody else is tired.
Clyde 2, Peterhead 1. Andrew McCarthy's pulled one back.
What day it is at Celtic Park? Arne Engels scores, but he's now got a yellow card, and it was checked for a possible red card. Celtic goal differences in a different postcode from everyone else, but defensively lacks. Very odd first half. Interesting to see how Brendan Rodgers deals with this.
I feel a wee bit disappointed here.
Yeah,
they've created a lot of good chances, caused Celtic problems. So it'll be interesting to see if they come out in the second half and step up a little bit.
Is that the bit, Mark, that it's hard to get into your head once the bar gets set so high, though, that you are not going to win every single game 5-0? You're not going to win every single game without the goalkeeper having a save to make. There's also a big question mark about whether you can even win every single game or go undefeated. That in itself is hard to do. Never mind that within those 90 minutes teams don't even get a chance.
Yeah, that is the reality of football. You're going to concede chances. Teams are going to come at you. The level of opposition is going to vary, and I think Hibs in the first half have been very good, because you look at the Hibs players individually, they're good players. We keep saying this, so you're going to come up against teams that will give you a threat. It's how you ride that out, or what you do at the top end of the pitch. And Celtic have done the crucial bit. If this is still 0-0, then it's a whole different discussion, but they've managed to get their noses in front without being brilliant.
2 minutes added in Paisley, so the boards will be starting to go up around the grounds. Half time in that Scott Allen television wrecker game. Kelty Hearts 0, Alloa 1. 1 minute added there at Pittodrie as well. Remember, Aberdeen trail St Johnstone by 1-0, which I'm not sure many people would have seen coming. Celtic had a corner that didn't really come to much. 5 added at Celtic Park. 2 injuries to Mikola Kukarevic. A VAR check on Arnie Engels, another quick VAR check, I think, for a Celtic penalty. Doesn't look like your employers are serving up a feast of entertainment, Mark. Partick Thistle 0, Ayr United 0.
No.
You must be torn though, because you work for Partick Thistle, but you've got Scott Brown posters on your bedroom wall. So
yeah, it's a tough one for me today.
Who do you want to win then?
Thistle.
Do you?
I took the Bruni posters down. When as soon as he signed for Aberdeen, I took them down.
I can remember that day when you seen him at the golf. I've never been so embarrassed for an adult in all my life.
How many years ago was that?
Oh my goodness, it's in my memory bank. I will never forget it. I was embarrassed for you that
in
day.
that memory bank?
Autograph, selfie,
it was
cuddles.
embarrassing, honestly.
Old
Bruni, remember me?
Aye, I'll ring your bunker for you, Bruni. Aye, I've tell you, it's ridiculous.
Half time, Tannadice, Roger Hannah.
Half time, it's Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0, and Derek McInnes is halfway towards his stated aim of a clean sheet after that 6-goal drubbing at Ibrox in midweek. It could have all gone wrong inside 14 seconds. Sam Dalby, the Premiership player of the month, on his 25th birthday, heading wide after good play down the left by Louis Moult and Will Ferry. And then in 3 minutes, Dalby went even closer. He hit the post after a long throw in from Ferry, caused panic in the Kilmarnock defence. Kelly did rally. Fraser Murray made a good break down the left, and Bruce Anderson's effort from a tight angle easily held at the near post by Jack Walton. Robbie D is next to threaten for Kelly when he lashed off target after yet another long throw was held up in a swirling wind inside Tannadice. Kilmarnock threatened again in 17 minutes. Murray's shot from the edge of the box, well held above his head by the United goalkeeper Walton. At the other end, Robbie McCrory made a smart save down low to his left to deny Emmanuel Adebayoga, and then McCrory an even better stop, this time tipping over a powerful drive from Ferry from the edge of the box. United desperate for more chances in front of goal for Dalby and the recalled Mould. Kelly just desperate to stop the goals going in at half time at Tannadice. United 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Nothing doing there then. We do have some goals around the Premiership, which you will hear about very soon. In fact, it is half time in Paisley. David Friel, none there either.
Yeah, Gordon half time, St Mirren 0, Motherwell 0, nothing doing, all square. The players will need a break. They all put so much into that half. I think they should get 10 out of 10 for effort. We just haven't really had that bit of quality yet. St Mirren, most of the pressure, but this has been a game of very few clear-cut chances. I say the home side have a couple of efforts in target. Motherwell haven't really properly tested Ellery Balkan, but will feel there's maybe something to come in the second half. St Mirren came out with a lot of purpose. They tried to pin Motherwell back. McMenamin and Greg Kelty, they were very lively. Kelty's turning volley was probably St Mirren's best chance in the early stages. Motherwell follows there, feeding off scraps at that point. Balcom did punch clear under pressure from Andy Halliday. Gio Tavares then hit the bar, but the whistle had already gone. St Mirren probably carried more of a threat. McMenamin had their best chance around the half-hour mark. He broke into the box and hit it upright with a really powerful drive, although I thought Aston Oxford did get a touch on it. He also saved from Alex Gogic, big defender heading straight at him. He was then booked for taking down Andy Halliday on the edge of the box. Andy's been really good, but getting a bit of rough treatment from the players. He also pulled rank over Lennon Miller and took a free kick from about 20 yards, but it whistled wide of the post. I'd say Motherwell probably finished a half better, but this game is well in the balance. Half time, St Mirren 0, Motherwell 0.
What about Pittodrie, Dave Galloway?
Half-time, Aberdeen 0, St Johnstone 1, and a chorus of boos greeted the half-time whistle. Aberdeen from the start were dominating possession without creating much at all. They lacked any real creativity. St Johnstone defending well and trying to hit on the counter. Saints took the lead after 25 minutes. Matt Smith whipped in a cross which James McGarry made a bit of a hash of dealing with, and Mackenzie Kirk got onto the loose ball, said thank you very much, and rammed it into the net. And they nearly doubled their advantage when Lewis Nielsen's dinked effort hit the bar. The shell-shocked hosts tried to hit back. James McGarry's driven cross across the goal mouth finding no takers, and Sivert Heltner Nielsen couldn't quite get the final touch on Leighton Clarkson's very inviting free kick into the danger zone. But the away team's defence in this first half has looked very comfortable, and their keeper Josh Ray has had very little to do. Jimmy Tulane has got some job in his hands to lift his side at the interval following a very poor first 45 minutes. Aberdeen 0, St Johnstone 1.
Celtic passed up a good chance whilst we were listening to that. Well, it was actually a good save. Let's give some credit. Jordan Smith, Adamida on the spin. He caught it well and it was at close range, but saved by the boot of Jordan Smith. So Celtic, as much as they've conceded chances, they very much could be in 2-0 up at the break, but nothing else to bring you as this half draws to a close. We'll get the report from Tynecastle as well, where it's been a big half for Lawrence Shankland, but I think we will just hold fire because Celtic Park must be seconds away. And there it is, look at that. How's that for timing, Andrew McLean?
Celtic 1, Hibs 0, the half-time score. Not often you say it, Celtic probably lucky to be ahead in this one because Hibs have created so many good chances but just so wasteful, which will leave David Gray really frustrated. Barely a minute on the clock where Mikola Kukurevich, he was sent through one-on-one, ran the length of the half basically, plenty of time to think about it, maybe just too much time, and his shot was saved by the foot of Kasper Schmeichel. Really should have put that one away. The keeper then had to make another couple of stops not long after that. Nicky Cadden and Ellie Yuan with shots from the edge of the box. They were really on top for the opening 5 minutes. Not clinical enough, but Celtic were, because they had their first chance 6 minutes in. Nicholas Kuhn finding Alistair Johnson on the overlap, his ball across the 6-yard box, and there was Arne Engels to provide the finish. Celtic could have made it 2 not long after. Luke McCowan with a strike from Dyson Maeda's cut back. That one came off the top of the bar, but then more Hibs pressure. Joe Newell skying one over the bar before Kukurevich had another big chance put through on goal. Again, a heavy touch this time at the wrong point, and that ruined his chances of getting a really decent shot away. Kasper Schmeichel saving, really should have done better again. At the other end, Adamida couldn't get the right contact on Nicholas Kuhn's ball across the box, and just before the break it broke really kindly to Ida in the box. Good strike on the spin from close range, but what a save by the leg of Jordan Smith to keep it at 1-0. An interesting half so far where Hibs have been made to pay for not taking those big chances after exploiting quite a bit of space in behind that Celtic defence. The half-time score here at Celtic Park: Celtic 1, Hibs 0.
And we'll do the half-time story from Tynecastle after these.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half time in the Scottish Premiership and beyond. In the top flight, it's Aberdeen 0, St Johnstone 1. It's Celtic 1, Hibs 0, Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 2, Dundee 0, and St Mirren 0, Motherwell 0. In the Championship, Dunfermline 0, the Accies 0, Falkirk 1, Raith Rovers 0, Morton 0, Livingston 0, Partick Thistle 0, Ayr United 0, and Queen's Park 2, Airdrie 0. Into League 1, Annan 0, Cove Rangers 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Alloa Athletic 1, Montrose 2, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Stenhouse Muir 2, Dumbarton 0. In League 2, Clyde 2, Peterhead 1, East Fife 1, Elgin 1, and Stirling Albion 0, Edinburgh City 2. We will do some English Premier League if you're that way inclined at the break. It's Aston Villa 1, Southampton 0, Brentford 2, Newcastle 2, Crystal Palace 1, Man City 1. We'll get back for the second half next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard. The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. Book a test drive for the Volvo EX30 today. Head online for details.
Get in! Finally found the perfect sofa. A massaging, reclining, pink chaise longue. What a win. Only thing is, I haven't shopped on this site before.
Maybe use PayPal. It could help you feel secure, knowing your card and bank information is safely stored.
Oh, good call. Looks like I'm sitting pretty. Wait.
Really? You're better than that. Don't just pay. PayPal.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Book a test drive for the fully electric range today. Head online for details. Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time in the Scottish Premiership. I suppose it's still half-time at Celtic Park. Andrew McLean, the subs are sometimes out and about. It gives you a clue. I don't suppose either team would need to make any alterations at the break, would they?
No, I'd be surprised if there were going to be any changes. I mean, certainly defensively, Celtic haven't looked as sound as they have in recent weeks. Hibs will be happy with what they've done in an attacking sense up to a point, but you can just imagine how frustrated David Gray is going to be in that changing room at half time, because if a team comes to Celtic Park and gets one good opportunity, they'll feel they need to take it. If you come to Celtic Park and get 3 or 4 as a visiting side, you have to at least take one of them if you're going to come away with a result. And Kuharevich, I think it was maybe only a minute or two into the game, sent through one-on-one with Kasper Schmeichel. Really should have done better with that opportunity. There was the one that was cut back to Joe Newell, and then Kuharevich, before he came off injured, had that second opportunity, and you could see the frustration creeping in, because Jordan Obita, once that chance had been missed, he was screaming at Kuharevich because he knew that they need to take those chances. He was jumping up in the air, he was waving his arms around at the striker, because he knows that those types of opportunities don't come often at Celtic Park. So Hibs have wasted a good few of them so far in this half. Celtic maybe haven't been at their fast flowing best that we're used to seeing them, but as you guys mentioned, Celtic aren't going to blow teams away every single week. If you're going to win a title, you need to win games in different ways, and they're doing it so far. It's maybe not been their best performance so far this season. They've left a lot of space in behind that Hibs have managed to exploit up until a point, but they'll still be happy with some of their performances in there. Arne Engels will be delighted to be able to get on the score sheet, because there's maybe been quite a bit said about him. Obviously the price tag will weigh heavy on him, but to be able to get that goal, Luke McCowan hit the bar as well. Nicholas Kuhn has looked bright in spells, and obviously has that link up with Alistair Johnson down the right that led to the goal. So some good things for Celtic, maybe a few worrying things at the back, and Hibs, if they can get any more opportunities like those in the second half, they absolutely need to take them if they're going to come away from Celtic Park with a point or 3 today.
Okay, let's get these second halves up and running. Find out if we get any second half drama.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get advice on keeping infections and viruses away when school returns.
Jimmy Tillene's always very proactive with his changes, isn't he? He's gone again at the break. They need a change to try and get back into this one. Duke on for Shayden Morris.
Well, he needs a result today, Jimmy Tillene, because it will only give people like me an excuse to say, oh, the bubble's burst, because he's 2 points from 12, and if it's 2 points from 15, then the bubble has burst.
Yeah, and you've got Rangers just creeping up on you week by week, and I would expect Rangers to win tomorrow. So if it stays like that, very, very close, and Rangers would have a game in hand.
So is that would be the advantage wiped out?
Yeah,
so to speak. So it would be 1 point with a game in hand, wouldn't it? So
yeah.
Of course Rangers have to go and do their business tomorrow first and foremost, and then take care of the game in hand, but it is a picture that's changed very quickly in favour of Rangers and against Aberdeen. But this is a kind of bubble bursty type game, Gordon, in the sense that there's no shame in losing to Celtic the other night, and they actually did pretty well. And again, sometimes you go on the road, you can't expect to go and win all those games, but I think the home fans at Pittodrie would certainly expect bouncing back. Devlin and Palaversa come on as well.
Yeah, I don't think any of us tipped St Johnstone to go up there this afternoon and get a result, Gordon. Still, a second half to play. He's made a change. Duke will give him a bit of threat down the wide areas. They're hoping to get back in the game very quickly. But you're right, if you get beat today, then people do start looking and questioning you, thinking, is the bubble burst? 2 out of 15. I think they play Hibs and Kilmarnock away next 2 games. So it'll be an interesting second half for the Dons. I expect them to come back into the game. I think they've got too many good players.
Well, they'll have to come back into that game It would be a tremendous encouragement for Philippe Clement, the Rangers players, the Rangers fans, if Aberdeen dropped more points today, and there still exists the possibility that Celtic drop points, because the story of the second half at Celtic Park is the Celtic get a second goal, at which point the game's done, or the Hibs get an equaliser, at which point all bets are off.
It's not that, sorry man, it's not that very often, Hugh, that a team like Hibs, who are sitting second bottom of the league, go and both halves are the same. They created good chances in the first half. They should have scored, no doubt about that. They've missed up some real good opportunities. But you'd expect maybe Brendan Rodgers not to be too happy with one or two in the dressing room. I would expect Celtic to come out and be in the front foot again.
Ida has been particularly wasteful in front of goal. I dare say he'll get to the hour mark and be replaced by Kyogo. The chances that we've spoken about Hibs and the chances they have passed up, the chances that Celtic have passed up as well.
Yeah.
Have to laugh at Andrew's description of Beta jumping up and down, waving his arms about a Kukarevich missing the chances, because he probably knows he's going to concede chances. You know what I mean? Do your job first. Let the striker go on with his job.
But then again, you see both sides of that, because you're probably not going to come and keep a clean sheet either, are you, with the best will in the world? So
we said it earlier, Gordon, you need Celtic to be off it, and defensively they have been.
I think we've got a change for Celtic at the break, Andrew.
Yeah, an interesting one. Nicholas Kuhn has made way. Didn't look as if he'd picked up any sort of injury, so we'll find out afterwards from Brendan Rodgers what that's about. But it's going to be James Forrest that comes on for him. So Luke McCowan is standing over the ball. We're about to get back underway, but James Forrest is on for Nicholas Kuhn at half time.
Could be a number of things, Hugh. That could be wrapping in cotton wool ahead of Champions League. It's probably, there must be something slight, you would imagine, because you'd fully expect him to come off after 60 minutes with the Champions League in mind, but maybe just feeling something.
And the precaution has been taken. James Forrest still looking for that first goal of the season, scored in 15 successive seasons for Celtic, still not got a goal this season to make it 16 seasons. So James Forrest there. I thought Nicholas Kuhn was largely anonymous against Aberdeen at Pittodrie midweek, even allowing for the awful conditions. I mean, there were some good performances in among the Celtic players, but Kuhn was anonymous, and fairly anonymous today as well. So it might be a precaution because of a niggling injury, or it might just be that the manager feels he'll get more out of James Forrest.
I think the latter there. I think maybe it's just a little niggle. I'm like the rest of you guys who would probably given him 15-20 minutes into the second half. But it's not a bad replacement. Forrest coming on, bags of experience. A bit disappointed. I'd like to see Yang getting a little bit of a run out. I think he's looked sharp every time I've seen him coming on. I think he's got something to give.
Well, he will. That's if Celtic can get a second, he will replace Maeda at some point, won't he? With the Champions League in mind.
I think he's taking time to settle in, but I think he's producing the goods now.
Right, Hugh, this is a good one. Looking forward to this. Right. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp. We're probably all guilty of not taking enough moments in our life to say thank you to someone important, someone who makes a difference. For me, of course, I've got family and friends I can speak to, but what about the family in here? As much as we get nonsense from the likes of Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel on this show, it is really important, seriously, to take a moment and realise the difference having a laugh with your friends can make and escape whatever else is going on. So I'd like to shout out to them both and all the other pundits in the show for keeping me and hopefully you entertained every night. And this month with BetterHelp, it's all about gratitude. So along with the likes of Mark and Daz, the other person we don't get to thank enough is ourselves. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself, because you're listening to the Super Scoreboard podcast. You're obviously already got pretty sound judgment. Remember to tell yourself that there are so many benefits to using BetterHelp for therapy. It's not just for people who've experienced serious trauma in their lives. There are great tips for learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, and just be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. With over 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise in mental health. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/SSB. That's betterhelp.com/SSB.
Hey, I've got one more game. I'm about to dial in. Load on up. Now entering the Give me the controller.
Get your own.
I'm doing a side quest.
Downloading a new skin.
I'm back with a clan.
Let's go.
Want to play co-op?
Got a mission to do.
Attack.
Fire in the hole.
You're gaming and caning the broadband? Wi-Fi 7 on EE makes every device work better, even yours.
Yo, guys, let's loot.
Go. We're moving.
Upgrade to Wi-Fi 7 on EE and we'll sort the switch for you.
43.7% UK availability. Smart Hub Pro and Smart Wi-Fi Pro available with selected EE full fibre plans. Terms apply.
It's cold. It's actually Baltic out there. And I've just seen how much new boots are going to cost me.
Just chill, mate. Well, not literally. I've used PayPal credit for mine, so I could buy now and pay over time.
Oh, good shout. And I might be able to feel my little toes again.
Don't just pay. PayPal.
Representative 23.9% APR variable subject to status. Minimum monthly payment required. Terms apply. PayPal UK Limited.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Wes Brown and Callum Davidson. I've been managed by Paul Heckingbottom and Graham Alexander. My career spanned 3 decades, winning league and cup trophies in Scotland. Who am I? Played alongside Wes Brown and Callum Davidson. Managed by Paul Heckingbottom and Graham Alexander. My career spanned 3 decades, winning league and cup trophies in Scotland. Who am I?
Good question. I like it. Tried to make it quite vague because you're all too smart at it. I still think you'll nail it as you always do, but tried to make it a bit trickier today. So at Clyde SSB, 1 tweet, 1 name, get it right, do it quicker than everyone else, and that is how you win the second half teaser. But just chuck some guesses at us. Let's go through it together. Gordon Dalziel and Mark Wilson will play along with you, so you can see if you beat them as well. Now, Dundee United do have the ball in the net. A header from Adebayoga. The flag's up, but now the VAR check to make sure that that is the correct decision. Engels has had a shot straight at Smith. He does flick on the edge of the box, so Celtic trying to get that second quite quickly. They actually got their first quickly at the start of the first half, even though Hibs had even earlier chances. But since then, Hibs have not quite carried that same threat. Kukarevic early on in the first half, a couple of excellent chances. He's gone off injured. Adam Ida had a couple of chances for Celtic. Arnie Engels' goal, the difference so far.
Well, it's the Dalziel theory being put to the test here, that a club like Hibs, having had a good first half, do they have 2 good halves in them? But Celtic starting this one lively.
Yeah, for only being 1 goal ahead, we've seen some of the chances from the first half. They still created some good chances, Celtic, maybe in a different day. Like last week, those are converted and it's a much different story and it looks brilliant, 5-0 at half time. But Ida, couple of chances, Engels, McCown off the bar, you know, just not falling in right. But another good chance at the start of the second period, could have made it 2 there. That
really is the bit that I think you overlook, because actually, see, having been there working last week, the first half against Ross County and the second, it wasn't really any different. It just means in the second half, Jack Hamilton made, I think, 3 good saves and they hit the bar, and in the first half almost everything went in. But you get this impression then, people say, oh, they took their foot off the gas or whatever. It genuinely wasn't really like that. The crucial bit is just that last bit of trying to get the ball over the line.
Yeah, the hardest part of football, scoring a goal. You know, Brendan Rodgers came out in his press and said he was absolutely delighted with the football, the way that Celtic went about their business today. Look, the positives for them is they're still creating chances and they probably could have scored more goals. Negative in the first half was they gave up a lot of chances. Hibs probably thought, you know what, we had a great opportunity to maybe get 2 goals here.
Chance Celtic. Smith couldn't quite gather the cross. It fell to Liam Scales, but then a great block to stop him scoring. So Celtic getting closer to that second. Mixed emotions for Stuart Kettlewell here. Dan Casey's got a head knock, which he won't be happy with, but they have stopped play, which he will be pleased with after the other night's debacle at Dens. Lawrence Shanklin's got a bit of swagger back. He's trying chips from 18 yards with the left foot, a yard over the top though, looking for his hat-trick.
Yeah, you can imagine the effect the hat-trick would have on him. The most talked about non-scoring goal scorer in the country, and now on the verge of a hat-trick.
Do you still keep the match ball if you get a hat-trick?
question. Not sure.
Remember those days?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I'd get everybody to sign it.
2 cupboards. But I just wondered if you still kept.
So, I'm thinking the other way. Did you genuinely do that in your day?
Yeah.
All right, because it's
every weekend.
I thought back in your day would be the same match ball used every week.
No, I just used to take it. I used to take it 3:05. Save any hassle.
I wonder where that comes from. When it started,
yeah,
who did it first? Why it became a thing?
Good shout, Gordon.
Someone can educate me. Go on then. At Clyde SSB. Why do hat-trick scorers take the ball home? When did it start? Who started it? Got one of these in the meantime, if I can just tell you about it.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Equaliser. Aberdeen is Duke with the cross. He just came on at the break. Leighton Clarkson taps the ball in, and that's more like it in the eyes of the Red Army. Aberdeen 1, St Johnstone 1.
Hold that bubble. That bubble may not be burst yet.
It's just like partially deflated.
Yeah.
But manager will be happy because he's made that substitution. He's got an impact right away, an assist. I just think that, as I said, Aberdeen have got good players, and obviously he's had a few strong words, made a change at half time, and it's making a difference.
Stuart Kettlewell versus the referees goes on. He's been booked for moaning at the 4th official.
I always think that's the mark of a manager who's under strain. You know,
I think he does that when he's winning.
Yeah,
well, absolutely. He's just not shy.
Just a Crabbit type.
Gordon Dalziel's got a name on the teaser. It's incorrect.
Oh, that's not like you.
It's not like you.
I don't think he's firing on all cylinders today, though.
I think because the person that usually texts him the answers out Christmas shopping and hasn't heard the show.
Good attempt.
You started your Christmas shopping, Gordon?
I don't do the Christmas shopping, Gordon.
He did say during the break he's getting...
What? Nobody is getting anything?
I get my granddaughter, that's it. The rest, I just think that it's, you know, the electricity and gas bills are up. Cost of living's very, very dear now. And I think
that's all true, but I don't believe it when it comes from you.
Christmas is for the kids. So my granddaughter, she's in that age group that she'll get a present, one only. I don't like to spoil them. But the
You're
rest,
getting a free transplant. You should devote the money from the free transplant to the Christmas present.
I'm getting more than a free transplant. I'm getting the threads as well in there, let me tell you.
And where? This is radio. People can't see where you're pointing.
What do you call these things?
Your cheeks, I don't know.
I know there's called something. The lines just below your lip. Put the wee threads in, pull yourself back.
You at 62 are getting a facelift.
Correct.
What else?
That's what he's getting himself for Christmas.
Yeah.
3 procedures.
Yeah.
No, the third one's not allowed to be discussed. Generally, it's not.
The third one will bring a lot of joy.
No, we're not allowed. Christmas time. We're not allowed to discuss the third one, I have to say. Not allowed. Bruce Anderson's headed wide from Corey and Daba's cross. Game very much in the balance up there at Tannadice. 0-0. Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0. Dunfermline have taken the lead at home to Hamilton Accies. Matthew Todd with the goal. I was at East End Park working for something yesterday. Not been there in ages.
It's a nice stadium,
big club, isn't it? It used to be in the top flight. And
I played in a few derbies there, full houses. It was brilliant. Good club.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Got a goal at Celtic Park, and it goes the way of the hosts. It's a corner flicked on by Adamida, and it's turned in, we think, by a defender who gets the final touch, which means Celtic have that crucial second goal, and that becomes a very long road back for Hibs, who did start the match brightly but find themselves 2 goals down, and Celtic look like they're on course to at least maintain their lead at the top, depending what Aberdeen do. But as things stand, they will stretch it, Hugh.
Well, 2-0 up at home into the second half. There's no way that Celtic drop points now. Major inquiry if they did. Be typical of Hibs season if it was a Hibs player who put the ball in, but we will get clarification of that from Andrew McLean. However, the change that Brendan Rodgers made at half time, Kuhn off, Forrest on, Celtic have looked the livelier by far of the two teams, and that really ought to be game, set and match.
Oh, they're not coming back from that.
By the way, they're now a real threat, Celtic, at set pieces. It's something they've certainly worked on. You look at Scales almost scores moments ago.
Is Joe Newell thinking it's a decent finish?
Well, he missed an opportunity there in the first half, but that was an easier finish.
Yeah, but I get something about the ball.
Smashes it into the roof of the net.
Yeah, so it's something to work on, certainly. In any well-rounded team, you've got to carry a threat. I remember on here for years it seemed, and we'd have callers and ourselves saying Celtic just aren't a threat at set pieces, and no one that would go and attack the ball. But you've got Scales, you've got Trusty, Carter Vickers when he plays, Ida, you know.
See, since we had that stat about Rangers not scoring for set plays, have they scored?
No, I don't think so.
Still not?
No, I don't think so.
Surprising that.
Not that I can think of. Or did they do it in the 6th the other night?
I try to think of the goals.
They were very close, because one was flicked on to Suter at the back post and he fired it over early on. But no, Hadji's was from cross for Tavernier, open play. Desser's a couple of moves down the left. Egamans was a long range strike. So no, I don't think so.
No, surprising that.
Not yet. Robbie McCrory's gone off injured for Kilmarnock. That's never ideal. He was hurt. Remember I said they had the ball in the net a few moments ago. Dundee United, well, the goalkeeper was injured at that point, back down again, and Kieran O'Hara comes on. Kieran O'Hara has played a couple of times for Kilmarnock this season, so on he comes. On you go, Hugh, sorry.
Derek McInnes having one of those seasons. If they're not being sent off, they're being carried off. And the combination of Robbie Dees was a bad blow to him, top class defender. Now it's Robbie McCrory.
Stuart Finlay is the long term one.
Stuart Finlay, yeah. So nothing is going his way, and if Dundee United do get a goal, that will just put the tin lid on it.
Falkirk 2, Wraith Rovers 0. They're still flying at the top of that league. Alfredo Aguiman with the goal.
Is Livy playing today?
0-0.
0-0.
Falkirk
had a good watch this season. Some good goals.
A couple of year old teams losing, Wraith Rovers and Man City. Crystal Palace are beating
Blues?
They're beating them. They were 1-up as well, City.
No, one each, I think he equalised.
Yeah, it was one each at half time.
Oh, was it? I thought
anyway,
Haaland put him in front.
He did certainly score, and they're behind now 2-1.
They're not going too
Tough
well.
old time for Perth. Somebody videoed them losing their rag as
Saw
well.
that?
Yeah.
Square goal with somebody outside.
Did you see that?
Did he?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, huge game down south tomorrow for Ange Postecoglou. There is a chance if he loses at home to Chelsea tomorrow, he might not be at Ibrox on Thursday.
I was going to say, for the good of everybody, win, lose or draw, for it, we need him here on Thursday.
Yeah,
we can't have that. We can't have Tottenham coming here with some interim manager. That's no use for anyone.
He won't get a sack, Hugh.
Oh, he might. You know.
Well, it was only a couple of weeks ago he walloped Man City.
I know. They're only a couple of points off a good position in the league, but the fans are obviously on him.
And he had a fight with the fans midweek.
I always think it's really weird, and like I never really tell fans what to do. You wouldn't dream of it. They spend their money. I think you're allowed to be angry and frustrated at results, and you can shout certain things, but I think they were shouting like, you know, sort of personal
stuff,
insults.
Yeah.
I always just think that's weird. It just doesn't, especially when, as you say, a couple of weeks ago you beat Man City and you're not calling them those names on that night. But I don't know. Lawrence Shanklin thought he might have the chance to get a penalty. VAR had a look, but no, he claimed he was being held in the box. But there we go, nothing doing there. Motherwell wasting a break up the park there. Tony Watt can't convert the cross. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a red card though, says David Friel. I think a good few bookings so far. It's a bit spicy.
It was always going to be that way. Motherwell desperate to get something. St Mirren always difficult at home. Got the wee edge there to leapfrog Motherwell if they get 3 points going to the top six themselves. So there's a little edge to that game, it sounds like, as well. But there's a goal coming for David Friel. Yeah, Gordon.
Charlie tweeted in the other a couple of minutes ago to say the Dazzler is 62.
Yeah.
Must have cleaned a few chimneys as a child.
Was that an insult?
I think he's trying to say you look older.
Thank you.
What do you mean, thank you? Sidibe's on for Smith for St Johnstone. Not a bad sub to bring on.
Yeah,
very good. He was impressive these early days at St Johnstone.
Oh no, this might tip Derek McInnes over the edge.
Oh,
Now
no.
there's a VAR check
card
for one. Yeah, for Danny Armstrong.
I told you he's having one of those seasons. Red cards, injuries.
He caught Savelge with the follow through. He won the ball but high with the follow through. You've seen it. You've seen them given, as you say.
Well, not a good week for VAR, is it? Actually, was there 4 decisions did it pull up that were incorrect, if I got that right, especially at Tannadice?
That's if you agree that they were incorrect, of course. But yeah, that's what the KMI panel certainly felt.
How many was incorrect, did they say? 4?
The panel felt 4. But then we
spoke
about it last night, and Marvin and Scott felt that they didn't think Rangers should have had a penalty for the handball St Johnstone when Cross came in and Jack Sanders.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people do agree that the
one with John Beaton at Dundee.
No, that's not a VAR decision.
Oh, is it not?
Nah. So Jack Walton coming out and clattering Olusanya as he goes down the left, and then the other mistake again it's I think the detail about the Marcus Fraser one was that it shouldn't have been a red. I don't think I think the penalty's okay, if that makes sense, but the mistake is that it shouldn't have been a red card. So those were and that the young Aberdeen player Jack Milne should have been red carded for the lunge on Beningame at the end of the
he
game.
certainly should have.
Anyway, Danny Armstrong doesn't have to be added to the list for now. No red card. Sign of relief.
That might be the turning point you need for Derek McInnes.
Motherwell hit the bar. That would have been spectacular. Steve said, and he had one tipped over late on at Dens during the week. He's had a go. I think Balcombe got a touch, to be fair, and it goes off the woodwork. What about that teaser, Hugh? Let's check in.
Yep.
Because Gordon Dalziel hasn't got it yet.
I have played alongside Wes Brown and Callum Davidson. I've been managed by Paul Heckingbottom and Graham Alexander. My career spanned 3 decades, winning league and cup trophies in Scotland. Who am I?
Right, I wonder if we finally cracked it. No one has got it right yet.
No one?
No, because
it's difficult.
Josh Thompson thinks it's Craig Gordon. So did Kyle.
No.
I can see where he's going there.
Jamie Dock thought, like Gordon Dalziel, that it was Stephen Pearson.
Nope.
Loads of people think it's Craig Gordon.
You sure it's not him? Maybe we've got it wrong.
Gordon? No, it's not. It's definitely not. What I would say is just really hone in on the possibilities. Just one league and cup. Okay? Doesn't need to be the top flight. Okay?
Championship? You're talking about first division?
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's nonsense.
They don't count,
That's all I'm saying.
That's why all your achievements don't count.
It's the big cup. I'll give you that for now.
It's the big cup.
It's the big cup, but it might not be the top flight when we say won a league and a cup.
Right, okay. Yeah, so we're looking at a Ross County Inverness type thing.
No,
they didn't win the big cup. Hold on.
No, they did.
They have, yeah.
Oh, Inverness did.
Yeah, Inverness.
Not necessarily. Oh, he's injured again, honestly. Just get that guy in here. Surely he should just come in here on a Saturday afternoon.
He's a limp off, didn't he?
I think he, as I said, joking aside, I think he's got a bit of an issue, shall we say. Hence why
he's at that age now, Gordon.
Hence why he wasn't in on Monday night. Almost a gift a few moments ago for Hibs, by the way. Schmeichel had to make a double save from Ewan and Cadden. A bad pass from Luke McCowan.
It's hard to believe that Hibs haven't scored.
I know
in this game so far. The chances that they've had, and that one was a gift.
Celtic are having one of those days where they've scored early on, they've gone further in front because of an own goal, but they're wasteful, and Hibs are extremely wasteful in front of goal. An odd day where Celtic appear to be making life as difficult for themselves as they possibly can.
Yeah, it's at the moment looking like one of those sort of straightforward wins that probably doesn't get people going either way. Last week was spectacular in the first half. This has just been a bit of a steadier pace throughout, 2-0 up, but Hibs have had chances. Mandron and Idowu coming on for St Mirren. Kiltie and Olusanya go off, so a double change there as St Mirren look to try and find the opener. 0-0 at home to Motherwell. Andy Halliday's fighting on for the meantime, but he might be next to go. In fact, Motherwell haven't made any changes yet, have they? So you would expect them to do some. Yang and Kyogo are getting stripped, so that'll be straightforward, won't it?
Yeah.
Ida and Maeda.
Yeah, Maeda, always busy, the instigator of so much for Celtic. He'll be required in Zagreb on Tuesday. Ida, extremely wasteful in front of goal, having looked lively at Pataudry when he came on, but not had a good day today.
Forrest for Wilson. For Hearts, Musa's going to go up front. Still Shanklin stays on. Killie are now coming into the game at Tannadice. Vassell and Murray have had chances. We spoke about it all. There you are, Gordon. Your Man City, your beloved, are level. Palace 2, City 2.
Yeah.
Mark, we said it all along. So, I mean, Celtic would make these changes anyway. Probably,
Yeah.
you know, you get 5 changes, they tend to mix them up, but particularly with the Champions League in mind.
Oh, without doubt, it's such a crucial game at the weekend. So it's Brendan Rodgers has managed to squad well over this last period, rotated well. I look at Liam Scales. You class him as being rotated in, but I think that's his 19th game this season. So it's not as if you're bringing people from out the cold. But at this stage of the game, when you can bring on the quality that he is, it makes it extremely difficult for the opposition to keep up with. So it's a crucial period this over the month of December, and they're managing it
A lot
well.
of games, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of games you've got to manage.
A St Mirren free kick now in the edge of the box. Idowu brought down by Steve Seddon. Going to make a change for Aberdeen now. Keskinen on for Milne. Hibs are coming back into this again, by the way.
Yeah.
Schmeichel's now saved from Triantis, but there's that change that we spoke about. Ida and Maeda off, Kyogo and Yang on.
Well, as I said, Celtic are trying very hard to make the day difficult for themselves at both ends of the park. Don't score, don't defend properly. So in spite of having the 2-goal cushion, the game is not yet done.
Lots of people saying Stephen Pearson
And lots of people are wrong
on the teaser. Now, he only played in 2 decades, quite crucially, the 2000s and the 2010s. This guy's career spanned 3 decades. What I will tell you is that he is Scottish. I'll tell you that much. He is Scottish. So he's Scottish. You might have to consider that it was possibly not the top flight, that it was the league that he won, but he did win a big cup here. He's Scottish, played over 3 decades. Still no correct answers at all. I'm going to go for a big one here then.
Clue.
He is he's currently in management.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Give me that.
No.
Give me that pen.
No.
Not telling you where or
Let's
anything
get it.
of the sort. But he is currently in management. Come on, get your guesses in. There is a chance here to win this second half teaser.
Come on.
At Hibs corner now. Miller's shot deflecting off Taylor and over for a Hibs corner. Motherwell claimed a penalty there when Stamatolopoulos went through but couldn't finish. Nothing doing. Harry Payton's coming on for Ewan Wilson. Mark Wilson.
He's not Scottish.
He is Scottish.
He is Scottish.
Is he?
Mark Wilson
thought
thought it was Neil Collins, but it's not. But he is Scottish.
Is he? I didn't know that.
I can't believe
I
you.
didn't know that, but you know, a gig with him every Rovers in the
he's
The
talking
clues that you have given out, I can't believe that nobody's got it yet.
One.
It's
I
easy
think
when
maybe.
you've got the answer in front of you, Hugh.
Who was the person whose nationality you got horrendously wrong
Jim
recently?
Goodwin.
Jim Goodwin, that's what it was.
Yeah, he's Scottish. Big Scottish Jim.
That is an absolute classic. Dumbarton goalkeeper Brett Long's been sent off after 70 minutes. I think that's his second red of the season.
Don't hear the name Brett
Dumbarton
very much, do you?
Stopper.
Brett Long. Is he Scottish?
He's Irish.
Irish, yeah.
But he's been sent off with 20 minutes to go.
Caelan Adams has been a good signing for
flying.
Falkirk.
Yeah, Falkirk 3-0 up now. Caelan Adams, that, as we mention him every time, Mark, that's the Cumbernauld Colts, isn't it, to Falkirk?
Yeah, a fairy tale story. He will progress onwards and upwards, I'm pretty sure of that.
Hibs really are worth a goal here. Lewis Miller's now had a header saved by Schmeichel. No, that's, by the way, that's not one of the best chances they've had, far from it, but I just mean it's more pressure. No goal for Hearts. They thought they maybe had a sniff. There was one disallowed for offside, a VAR check on Musa, but the correct decision, no goal.
I'm now going to say that Carter Vickers not playing is a factor for Celtic, because the defensive work has been terrible the whole day long, and you have to think that it's too much of a coincidence that all of this happens when Carter Vickers isn't there.
Had so many chances. It'll be interesting to see the actual stats, how they read at the end of the game, because they have had a fair few attempts, Hibs, but so Celtic, the other side as well. They've, again, it could have probably been more than 2 without being at their spark on best, but they certainly are lucky not to concede so far.
Martin Boyle ready to come on for Hibs, try and spark something. They've still got the scope to make this uncomfortable, surely, Gordon.
Yeah, listen, I think they'll go away and think to themselves, if Celtic keep a clean sheet, how did we not score today? Because they've created a lot of chances, and I'm not talking about, they've created good chances that they should put the ball in the back of the net. But to be fair, so have Celtic. So I expect another goal here, but got a funny feeling it's got to be for the home team.
Equaliser for the Ackies. Sean McGinty makes it Dunfermline 1, Hamilton Ackies 1 on 74 minutes. Tell you what, this teaser has got everybody going. I've got an anonymous duo who wish not to be named, who reckon between them, or one of them thinks it's Ross Wallace.
No, I've got it.
Now I can see the connection, and
I've got it.
Lots of you are on the right lines, but that latest clue I gave you, maybe that message was sent before that. He's currently in management. That is a big clue.
Yeah, got it.
Go on.
Here he goes.
Let me see. Yes, Gordon. No. Let me see. It is not Don Cowie.
Oh, he was so confident.
Hold on. You went yes. So it's something like Don Cowie.
It begins with a D. Go on then. Do you want me to spell it out? Do not start writing down every manager you can think of whose name begins with a D. Please don't do that to me. We'll be here all day.
Donald.
Miserable day for Dumbarton. Steny now 3-0 up. We said that Brett Long had been sent off, possibly in the same incident, I'm not sure, but a penalty anyway. Matty Yates has scored that. Bernardo and Hitati coming on for Celtic.
Oh, not bad that, is it?
That is the bench challenge if you're Hibs.
Can one of them play centre half?
Almost forgot that they hadn't started those two. That is it. That is the size of the challenge right there, isn't it, Gordon? When you're Hibs and you think, maybe, you know what, we maybe could get into this and we could maybe nick something and make it uncomfortable. And I'm not saying that they still can't, but that's quite a pair to bring on.
Who's going off?
Well, it'll probably be McCowan and is Ingles off already?
No, he's still there.
McCowan and Ingles or
It's not a bad bench to turn round to, especially when you're 2-0 up, and make those substitutions. But I've got to say, Hibs will take a lot out of this game, even if they lose it, and I do expect them to lose the 3 points this afternoon. Going forward, that might be it's been a good performance for Hibs. I didn't think Hibs would create as many chances at Celtic Park. I really didn't.
Oh, good save there from Ross Doohan to keep Nicky Clark's volley out. So still level in that one, remember. Aberdeen 1, St Johnstone 1. A double change for Motherwell to try and get what would be a huge winner. Moses and Caleta on. Tavares and Stamatolopoulos go off.
Well, it's getting to that stage where it's going to be a bitter blow for Kilmarnock and Motherwell if they concede this late into the afternoon. They would have happily settled for a draw, I think, at 3 o'clock. But a bitter blow if you lose the game now.
Yeah, I wonder, Gordon, if when you are Motherwell and you're on the ropes a little bit and things are getting critical, to take the point, but then that becomes a really nervy portion of the game, because do you commit bodies, do you try and get the winner, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't think Stuart Kettlewell's that kind of guy. I think he'll try and go for the 3 points. It's finally in the balance, obviously. He's hoping that his substitutions maybe make an impact. But even if he does, it finishes 0-0 and he gets out there, he can take a point, he can take confidence for a clean sheet, because they've been really losing bad goals. So there's pluses there for
thinking more probably your Dundee United days though, Mark, is that we do this as if the manager's got this switch. I'm not necessarily suggesting Stuart Kettlewell chooses one or the other, but as a player, does it sometimes get in your head? You know, you've got 10 minutes to go, you know that you might concede and everything's terrible in the world again.
Yeah. And naturally you end up, you get dragged towards your own goal. It's a dangerous game to play. The players will know, how disappointing the last couple of weeks have been for them. I think they'd be happy with a point, but very, very difficult when you feel everything's going against you. So that's going to be an interesting end to that game. But look, those changes he's made sound attacking enough. I mean, Caleta still gives you pace on the right hand side. Tavares, I didn't even think he was a right wing back, but I like the look of him.
I'm not sure he is. Might be the answer. We've got a goal at Tannadice.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's the player of the month, it's Sam Dalby, and it's a mistake from Kieran O'Hara, who's just come on in goal to replace the injured Robbie McCrory. He pushes the shot out and Dalby is there on the rebound. An easy header. He's up there in the goal scoring charts as well. He is the player of the month. It's his 25th birthday as well to add to the mix. Happy birthday. 1-0 Dundee United.
Well, Derek McInnes can forget about putting a lottery ticket on tonight, because if it was for bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. So that's another sore blow. And with Hearts on the verge of a home win, They're getting closer to the bottom, Kilmarnock.
Great boost for the proud Scotsman Jim Goodwin and his team, though, you have to say.
Oh, listen, they're going great guns just now. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and I've got to say, it's a blow to Kilmarnock. I've no doubt about it. Gordon, I can't believe this guy's standing next to me. Right, you've just told me that it starts with a D, and he's John Rankin.
It's not Don Rankin.
I've got it.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
I did see you furiously looking at your phone there.
No, I didn't.
Finally, Gordon Dalziel gets it.
Do you know something? Know what I done? Know what I done?
Right, yeah.
I didn't. I thought he was.
Yeah,
not Scottish. You thought he was English.
I thought he was Irish.
Oh, come on.
Honestly.
Scottish. Anyway, right, Stirling Albion 0, Edinburgh City 3. It's the guy that was on Love Island, Uzi C.
Oh, remember him? He was alright on Love Island. Big Uzi.
Clyde 2, Peterhead 2. Clyde were 2-0 up, I think, as well. Jack Brown with the goal there. So goals are going in down the leagues. Will we get late drama in the top flight? Will we get a winner either way between Aberdeen and St Johnstone?
Winner at Firhill.
Can Hibs do anything?
1-0.
Oh,
Thistle.
Partick Thistle 1, Ayr United 0. Kyle Turner's penalty. Does that suggest to you that our big pal Brian Graham's
must
gone
be off the pitch, because it wouldn't be like Brian to surrender that, but Kyle Turner been playing right back recently.
Yang skips into the box from the left, just wide of the near post as Celtic look for a third. So if we're talking late drama, we're looking St Mirren. It is goalless there. It's 1-1 Aberdeen against St Johnstone. Maybe Kilmarnock have got an equaliser in them. Hibs have looked good for a goal, but you would have to say at this stage
that's done.
2-0 looks like a long way back.
Yeah, that's done. I think you've got to look at Paisley Pittodrie for a bit of drama. I think
Hearts 2-0 up. That's
gone as well. Yeah, I think we'll get drama before the end of the game.
As things stand, Hearts come off the bottom, Hibs go bottom. Hearts, I think, go over Kilmarnock on goal difference as well. So Kilmarnock will be second bottom, and the roof is doing a fair impersonation of caving in above Derek McInnes' head.
I think his frustration speaking to him post-match, Mark, the other night, where they've not been getting results. But if you think about it, pretty much all the games they've lost, they've been in that game and it's been quite close until the other night.
Yeah.
But then maybe going back to something closer to that today, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, really, because if you do it a couple of times you might have belief that things are going to turn in your favour, but then you start to wonder if it's just not going your way at all.
Yeah, and a lot's gone against them. We've already spoke about the European form off the back of that, the sending offs, but it's defensively, it's so uncharacteristic for a Derek McInnes side to lose so many goals. 34 they've lost now this season. So you've got to give those guys at the top end of the pitch a chance. They will get you goals and they will keep you in games, but too many conceded, too many chances conceded as well.
Austin Trusty's header from a corner saved by Smith. Andy Halliday has eventually gone off and he's been replaced by Sam Nicholson. So
he's just back from injury.
Long-awaited return.
He's a good player, that boy, when he's fully fit.
And got a bit of a creative spark. That's what Motherwell hoped. I think if you look at the on paper bit, they brought him back. I think they hoped that he could almost fill Blair Spittle's void, or at least partially do that. And he's not been available to play. This is going to be the first minute of action this season. So the 19th of May, the end of last season, played against St Johnstone, and he has not been seen since. So a real blow for him. But December and he's finally back out there, Gordon.
Yeah, welcome return, I've got to say. That's a boost for Motherwell, because they had an injury list that was, and you still have the experienced players. Stephen Donald back on the bench this afternoon, Gordon. McGinn has been a big miss, and I think that's the reason why they've been losing so many goals. The captain's not been available for them. Look, I keep saying it, they can take positives even if they get a point today. Clean sheet, going to a difficult venue, digging in, making it hard for St Mirren. So as long as they don't lose a late goal, or the plus for Stewart is to maybe just snatch one and get the valuable 3 points in the bank.
An attacking change for St Mirren though, as they go for it. Ayunga on for Bomono. So Stevie Robinson fancies it against his former side. That's a big late goal for Dunfermline. They've retaken the lead at home to Hamilton Accies. Josh Cooper with the goal there. Honestly, Hugh, we've got them spinning with this teaser. I've got Jiggy has sent Don Hutchison.
Nope.
Don't think he's in management. It does begin with a D though. Gary Holt. You would be right, both Scottish. Nearly there, nearly about to reveal who it is and reveal who the winners are. I think we almost had to go quite vague on the clues just to make it difficult.
You forget where this guy played, don't you?
Yep.
You know what I mean? One of the players in there he's played alongside.
Indeed he has. And he's known for management now, as we mentioned. I was going to give another clue, but I don't think we need it yet. I think you're getting there now. I think you're definitely getting there. That last goal in the Championship I told you about, so it's heating up in there as well. Oh, Gordon, your Man City side are 2-2, but they're down to 10 men.
Who's off?
Rico Lewis, who scored the second goal, I think.
Good player, Rico.
What's his best position?
Just off striker. Just
is it? Alright, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And
anywhere
in the H. He does play in the H, doesn't he? He plays it anywhere.
Good player. I don't know what's happened to the Blues this year. They're really suffering.
Missing Rodri.
They are.
One player.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? A team that's got the talent of Manchester City missing, a valuable player.
Don't do loads of news from the English Premier League, of course, but just a breaking one there that West Ham have confirmed that Mikel Antonio was involved in a road traffic accident earlier this morning. So it's a bit of a serious one. Hopefully comes through that fine.
They play Monday night, of course, West Ham against Wolves.
Oh, two managers under severe pressure.
It's the cutthroat game.
If one of them loses, they're going to lose their job.
I'll tell you what's annoyed me about Wolves.
What?
You seen this? Gary O'Neill, right? All over this morning. I see it on Match of the Day's social media page, and they're all posting it as if it's the biggest story, that Gary O'Neill apparently has 20 cups of tea in a day. Have you met the Dazzler? Have you seen this man? 4 cups of coffee before he even gets out of his bed in the morning.
20 cups of
20.
tea.
That's nothing to this guy. Absolutely nothing.
No, that's weak.
See, we reckoned you're about 17-18 coffees in where we speak about this quite a lot.
Yeah.
Tea on top of that.
Yeah, I'll take an odd cup of tea. Yeah.
It's ludicrous.
You must never be at the toilet.
No,
I don't know how he's still alive. Forget the toilet
through the night.
No, I'm quite good with coffee. I can actually. People go, oh, don't take a cup of coffee after 4 o'clock. I can't understand that, right? You shouldn't be here. At the end of the day, I can take a cup of coffee when I go home at 9-10 o'clock.
At night?
Yeah.
And you can't be drinking coffee
to be fair,
at 10 at night.
If he has 17-18 a day, of course he has to spread them throughout the day.
You need to get on the decaf.
Nah,
9 or 10 at night.
No.
Newell, Ewan and Miller off for Hibs. Hoylett, Gale and Cadden. When you hear those names, Hibs have got options, don't they? Just trying to find something. And they've actually been quite good today. As far as trips to Celtic Park go, it's tough to do much better than this at the moment. They're going to lose the game, you suspect. They're 2-0 down, but maybe they're at the start of something.
I think they can take a bit out of this game today, Gordon.
They're going to end the weekend bottom by the looks of it.
I know, but I think that if you're a manager, nobody's really expecting you to get a result at Celtic Park. But your pluses, you're looking and thinking, look at the amount of chances we've created this afternoon. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about chances from outside the box. They were in the first half. They were through 1-1 the goalkeeper twice. Joe Newell's had a chance blown over a bar. So they've created chances. And I think that against another team, they probably have taken them. But unfortunately, their shooting boots haven't been on this afternoon. And Celtic, with the quality they've got, has punished them. But I think if you're David Gray, you'll take a lot out of this game.
Goal at Celtic Park.
Goal flashes.
Maybe not.
With M&D Green Pharmacy.
This is a really nice one. It's Forrest to Kyogo. First touch and a lovely little dink over the goalkeeper. That'll be Kyogo moving up that scoring charts that we spoke about earlier. He's come off the bench. He's scored a goal, and Celtic lead Hibs by 3-0.
The Dazzler did a me.
Almost, yeah, almost.
I was talking about from an attacking sense, Hugh. I know he'll need to work on his defensive play. Listen, Celtic can do that to you, can't you? Especially when they make the changes and the quality players that they bring on. Look, Celtic have created chances this afternoon as well, but that's it. Finally put to bed now. Another 3 goals and probably a clean sheet for Celtic getting into a real important week.
Good for Kyogo as well, Mark, coming on and getting the goal.
We mentioned him earlier, and I was questioning where he was in those scoring charts because I felt it's maybe been a wee bit quiet from him. But takes his goal well, and it's been a comfortable victory in the end, and a good week, you've got to say, for the Celtic manager. Big games, tough games, but plenty of goals.
Yeah, really, really nice goal this from Kyogo, because he's got a lot to do. The pass is fired at him. His first touch is incredible. He almost lets it come through, through his legs, controls it, and then dinks it over the goalkeeper. It's a lovely, lovely finish this from Kyogo.
It's absolutely brilliant. I've got to say, that is top class striking. He's taken that great. Goalkeeper's come out and he's just dinked it over him. But you're right to highlight, Gordon, his first touch is incredible. I don't know, I've never seen players try that before. It's a good ball from Forrest. It's absolutely sublime. What a touch that is. And he finishes it brilliantly.
But again, Mark, I think everybody knows the golf and all that, and the players look at what Celtic can bring on. I still think there's a room to acknowledge the desire that they show. This is 85th minute of the game. They're 2-0 up. They're going to win it. They're never in any danger.
Yeah.
They've got the Champions League coming up, and Hibs have the ball. They're trying to break out. 3 Celtic players swarm, win it back, fire it through. You still need to do your bit. You can't just turn up with these better players than everyone.
Yeah, they're relentless, and they're a great example for young players, especially those attackers or those midfielders. You see how quickly they want to get that ball back, and that's where that comes from. Hatate and Forrest round the ball, win it back. You guys are right. What a touch that is, to let that come across you at almost mid-air and jump and then kill it and finish it. What a fantastic goal.
I think it's also important that one of the characteristics of the season for Brendan Rodgers, the way he uses his subs in the second half of games. Taylor was the important man midweek at Pittodrie with that wonderful pass to Rio Hatate. Got the goal, got the 3 points. Today, Kyogo, that is just magnificent play. And with Celtic, it's not who starts the game, it's how they look at the finish, because he times the substitutes so very well, and they finish with that great energy. I mean, they go at Pittodrie the last 10-11 minutes of the game, and as you say, they've got the game sewn up at 2-0, but in the last 10 minutes of the game, a third.
VAR's checking for a Kilmarnock penalty. They desperately need this. They are staring down the barrel of another defeat. They're 1-0 down at Tannadice, but they're having a check. Odada with the challenge in the box.
The way Derek's luck is running, they won't get it.
Yeah, there's every chance, so we'll wait and see. We'll stay with it. I need to do the winners of the second half teaser and announce it. It's one of the best second half teasers we've had, so I'm going to reveal the answer in just a few seconds, because goals are going in. Full-time whistles, are happening around the country. We're at that stage on a Saturday afternoon. Let's hope that VAR makes up its mind quite quickly. There you are, Mark. Partick Thistle 1, Ayr United 0.
Yeah, very good result.
Puts them into third.
Does it?
Yeah.
No.
Does it not?
No, just closes the gap between them and Ayr. That's why it's
Stephen
so
McLean is going to the monitor, so that suggests the penalty will be given. I will let you know. Let's do it, Hugh.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Wes Brown and Callum Davidson, been managed by Paul Hickinbottom and Graham Alexander. My career spanned 3 decades, winning league and cup trophies in Scotland. I am Sir David Gray.
David Gray, well done if you got it right, and lots of you did in the end. Third place was Jay of Here. Second place Martin McSorley, and I think about 20 seconds ahead of that was Matondo. Well done to you for winning the second half teaser. You'll need to meet him at the school gates. Alex Gogic sent off. Funny how you knew that rather than thinking he had scored. Alex Gogic sent off. He's tackled Moses and off he goes. It is a penalty, Kilmarnock. Bruce Anderson, 94 minutes to try and equalise for Kilmarnock. This would be massive for Killie, absolutely huge. Free kick, Motherwell in a dangerous area following that sending off.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's not the penalty, it's the free kick. Motherwell have taken a late lead in Paisley. How big could that be? Lennon Miller with the free kick. It hits someone on the way in and it finds the back of the net. St Mirren 0, Motherwell 1.
Marvellous for Stuart Kettlewell. Had a difficult day, but on to 22 points, cement their place in the top 6. They are now 4 ahead of St Mirren.
Kilmarnock penalty, Bruce Anderson.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
You cannot beat late drama on a Saturday afternoon on Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard. 95 minutes gone. How crucial could that be for Killie? Bruce Anderson converts the spot kick. It's Dundee United 1, Killie 1. It now looks like it's Tony Watt that scored that Motherwell goal. He's not had it easy since going back to the club. He's a former St Mirren player as well, of course, because he's former everybody. But in the 94th minute, Tony Watt from a Lennon Miller free kick, and in the bad week that Motherwell have had, what a way to round it off.
Double punishment for St Mirren. You know, they lose a man, Gogic gets sent off, and then they get punished from the free kick. As Hugh quite
full time in Paisley. David Friel, how's that for timing?
How is that for timing? Full time, St Mirren 0, Motherwell 1. It was pretty much the last touch of the ball. Gordon, Tony Watt header from Lennon Miller's free kick. Amazing drama here in injury time.
What is going on with the technology this afternoon? Honestly, trying to hear from people right at the crunch of the games that have just finished. Is David Friel? He sounds like he's there. David, can you hear us?
I'm still here, yeah. I'm just watching the Motherwell players celebrate here. As I was saying, St Mirren had the best of the first half. Motherwell had the chances in the second half, and then such drama right at the end. Alec Gogic sent off for a second booking. He took down Moses Abbey. Lennon Miller, what a free kick, and Tony Watt at the near post stooped down to head past Ellery Balcom, who'd been outstanding for St Mirren. A huge win for Motherwell. Huge win. They stopped it all. First clean sheet in 14 games and 3 massive points for Stuart Kettlewell and his players who are going to the away end right now. I've never seen Stuart Kettlewell so happy here, Gordon. Full time, St Mirren 0, Motherwell 1.
Huge, Hugh Keevins.
Yeah, absolutely. He comes under pressure all the time in this programme, Stuart Kettlewell, and there will be more of that today, but that's the best way to do it. Last gasp goal, final whistle, off to the away fans to celebrate. Happy Christmas.
Full time, Celtic Park, Andrew McLean.
Celtic 3, Hibs 0, the full-time score. A comfortable victory in the end for Brendan Rodgers' side, but Hibs had their chances, big chances, especially in that first half, made to pay for poor finishing. Celtic took theirs at the other end, and it means they come away with all 3 points. Hibs should have gone ahead in the first couple of minutes. Mikola Kukurevich, he was sent through one-on-one, ran the length of the half, but the end product wasn't there. Schmeichel saved a huge opening, passed up. Nicky Cadden and Eli Yuan also tested Schmeichel as Hibs started well, but then they conceded in the 6th minute. Nicholas Kuhn finding Alistair Johnson on the overlap, his cross into the 6-yard box, and Arne Engels was there to provide the finish. Luke McCowan almost made it 2 not long after that, his strike coming off the bar, but then Hibs were back at it at the other end. Joe Newell skying one over the bar, and then Kukurevich again put through. A poor touch this time meant he wasted that chance, much to the frustration of his teammates and his manager. Celtic started the second half brightly and got their second through an own goal. Adam Ida flicking on a header with flicking on a corner, with his head. Joe Newell was in the middle of the box, ended up smashing it into the roof of his own net. Hibs still managed to create a few openings in the second half, but the game was put beyond them by substitute Kyogo, and what a goal this is too. You'll want to catch this one. A lovely first touch running onto James Forrest through ball, then the composure just to sit Jordan Smith down and dink it over him. David Gray will no doubt be frustrated as he makes his way down the tunnel at the moment, but it's another win for Celtic going into a huge week of Champions League and League Cup final action. The full-time score here at Celtic Park, Celtic 3, Hibs 0.
What did you make of that, Celtic fans? I'm sure you've seen more vintage performances this season. However, if that's when the bar comes down and you still win 3-0, and what a goal from Kyogo. So what did you make of it today? Who stood out for you? How does it set you up for the Champions League in terms of the team who took their chance today, who didn't take their chance today? How does it all look going forward? And what about the talking points from the game itself? Motherwell fans, come on, we've had a few moans this week. You've just scored a 94th minute winner, and the league table is looking fairly pretty after all that. So give us a call right now if you can, please. This is what Saturday evenings are made for. What about Dave Galloway at Pittodrie?
Yeah, Aberdeen 1, St Johnstone 1. That's 5 games without a win now for the Dons, Gordon, with the spirited Saints deserving their draw. In the first half, Aberdeen lacked any creativity. St Johnstone defending well and trying to hit on the counter-attack. Saints took the lead after 25 minutes. Matt Smith whipped in a cross which James McGarry couldn't deal with, and Mackenzie Kirk rammed the loose ball into the net. And they nearly doubled their advantage when Lewis Nielsen's dinked effort hit the bar. The shell-shocked hosts tried to hit back. James McGarry's driven cross across the goal mouth found no takers, and Sievert Helton and Nielsen couldn't quite get the final touch on Leighton Clarkson's inviting free kick. At half-time, Jimmy Tulin made 3 substitutions. 2 of them combined very well indeed to set up Aberdeen's equaliser after 56 minutes. Antti Paloversa found Duke, whose cross was tapped in by Leighton Clarkson, who timed his run to perfection. Clarkson went close with a free kick which landed on top of the net, and Jack Milne's deep cross from the left-hand side very nearly caught out Josh Ray. But St Johnstone almost regained the lead with Nicky Clark's volley superbly kept out by Ross Doohan, diving low to make the save. Then Benji Kimpioka's shot was blocked very impressively by Nicky Devlin's sliding challenge. The game by now was evenly balanced, but neither team could get a winner, and things kind of petered out towards the end. It's ended here at Dreich Pittodrie Stadium. Aberdeen 1, St Johnstone 1.
What a day this has been of Scottish Premiership action. Roger Hanna's finished at Tannadice.
It has. Dundee United 1, Kilmarnock 1, and a miserable week for Killie ends in something of a high with a 95th minute penalty equaliser from Bruce Anderson to cancel out Sam Dalby's goal for United. First half reasonably even. Dalby hit the post after just 3 minutes after a long throw in caused panic in the Kilmarnock defence. The closest Killie came in the first half was when Robbie Dees lashed high over after another long throw in 13 minutes. The second half a far more competitive affair. Louis Moult fired wide from 6 yards after 49 minutes after a good ball in from Emmanuel Adebayoga. Adebayoga then had a header in the Killie net in 52 minutes on Ryan Strange's cross, but the flag was up and a VAR check confirmed the Irish defender was indeed offside. Robbie McCrory took a knock in that incident and only lasted another few minutes before having to limp off injured, with Kieran O'Hara coming on in goal. It was a red card check. Danny Armstrong got in late in a challenge with Fico Savelli, won the ball. He looked quite high in the follow through, but he was cleared to play on. VAR Alan Muir advising referee Stephen McLean. 68 minutes, Killie captain Kyle Vassell fired wide after a pass from Corey Ndaba, and then Jack Walton made a fine save to deny Fraser Murray a couple of minutes later. But in 79 minutes, a real drama. First of all, O'Hara, the substitute goalkeeper, pushing away a deflected free kick by United captain David Babunski. The ball came back to Babunski. He had another effort from distance. This time O'Hara made an awful mess of it. He pushed it straight back out into the danger area, and there was United striker Dalby on his 25th birthday. He'll never get an easier present heading home what looked to be the winner. Kevin Holt flashed a header wide from Will Ferry's corner in 89 minutes. That was close to United going 2 up, but they paid the penalty for that miss 5 minutes into the 10 that Stephen McLean added on. A penalty kick, United substitute Richard O'Dada going in late on Killie sub Bobby Wales in the box. Initially McLean waved play on, but the VAR Alan Muir sent him to the screen. He took a long time, but he did give the Kilmarnock penalty, and Bruce Anderson was emphatic, high to the right into the roof of the net to give Kilmarnock a deserved point. Full time at Tannadice, Dundee United 1, Kilmarnock 1.
And the big results just continue to come in from all over the country. What about Tynecastle? Let's hear from Fraser Wishart.
It finished here, Hearts 2, Dundee 0. Before the game, this looked like a tricky one for Hearts against an informed Dundee. In the end, it's a comfortable win for the home side. 2 first half goals from Lawrence Shankland, the difference between the teams. But Dundee rarely threatened and didn't have a shot on goal in 90 minutes. Hearts deserved the head at the break too, as I said, from Lawrence Shankland, and 2 assists from the impressive James Penrice. The first 21 minutes, Penrice crossed to the back post. Lawrence Shank with a clever finish. He looked his header back across goal and into the net with a cracking rooted to the spot. Second came in 31 minutes. Penrice again involved. Low cross shot. McCracken pushed the ball away. Wasn't a good clearance by the goalkeeper. Straight to Shankland. It wasn't the clearest of strikes with his left foot, but it bounced into the back of the net nonetheless. Dundee not an effort on target in the first 45. Tony Docherty reacted, made a couple of changes at half time, brought in Ingram and not surprisingly Simon Murray, an attempt to get a goal. But chat at the break was all about Shankland. Could he get a hat-trick? He tried his luck from 18 yards with his left foot with a chip just a yard over. It still felt like Hearts are more likely to add to the score, but little happening at either end. Hearts comfortable in the game. Musa had the ball in the back of the net, disallowed for offside. McCracken made a mess. McClear's hit for Talis, and it rolled into the path of Musa, who walked the ball into the empty net. But Musa had been offside earlier on in the move. Devlin with a low shot saved by the Dundee keeper as the game livened up a bit for 5 minutes. Shankland saw a good shot in the turn, saved by McCracken to deny him the hat-trick. But to be honest, the game just petered out with Hearts fans delighted at the end. Good performance, 3 points off the bottom of the table, and they'll hope this is a turning point this season, both for the team and for Lawrence Shankland, who's so important to this club. Tony Dalton, I think, will be very disappointed with his team's performance, especially in attack and given their recent form. Full time at Tynecastle, Hearts 2, Dundee 0.
And now it's over to you. Come on, this is what Saturday evenings are made for. 0141951 1025. What did you make of that then? Whatever game you were at, whatever result you watched, maybe you just listened on the radio. What did you make of it, Celtic fans? It wasn't the easiest afternoon. Hibs came, they had chances, they made life difficult, and yet you still win 3-0. What does that say about the level that the team is playing at the moment? How good was Kyogo's goal? You might want to give that a bit of praise. How does it set you up for the Champions League? Are there players in there that are taking their chances? Are there others that aren't? How does it all set you up heading over to Zagreb? In terms of those 3 o'clock games, take your pick from the various talking points. I'm thinking you Motherwell fans might have something to say, because there was all sorts of criticism and negativity during the weekend. Last weekend, how big a win was that? Tony Watt popping up with the winner in the 94th minute. It was drama, not quite as important as the 3 points, but a vital one for you Kilmarnock fans up there at Tannadice. Again, give us your thoughts if you can. And what about tomorrow, Rangers fans? Everybody, every single caller, every tweeter, every fan all week has been saying Philippe Clement must pick the same team tomorrow that he did against Kilmarnock. Will he do that? How are you feeling tomorrow? Give us a call and we'll speak to you next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's Open Line.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson, all here to take your calls after a busy Saturday of Scottish football. Whatever it is that's on your mind, whether you're happy with your team's result and performance, unhappy, angry at a referee, somewhere in the middle, or looking ahead to tomorrow's game between Ross County and Rangers, we are here for you. So 0141 951 1025, give us a call right now just to set the scene and remind you: Aberdeen 1, St Johnstone 1, Celtic 3, Hibs 0, Dundee United 1, Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 2, Dundee 0, and St Mirren 0, Motherwell 1. I'll just cherry pick some of the others from down the leagues. Falkirk beat Wraith 3-0, Partick Thistle beat Ayr 1-0, Queen's Park 2, Airdrie 0 as well in the Championship. So if that tickles your fancy, it's the same number. John is first up. Hi John.
Hi there, how are we doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay, thanks.
Good, what are you thinking tonight?
It was just a curious question about Greg Taylor. I personally think Greg Taylor has been quite a great player this season and the end of last season. Obviously his contract's running out this summer. There's been questions asked why have they not extended his contract yet, and it's just curious as to why they're not trying to fight for him, because today watching him, the positions he took up and the passes and the gameplay that he's doing, he's becoming such an inspirational player in my opinion, and I think that he's only got to get better. If we can maybe keep him for another couple of years, even if it's not going to be a massive transfer, but I think it'll be a great addition to keep that player in the team. And it was just to see what the panel thought of keeping him as a part of the Celtic team.
As I understand it, talks are still ongoing, but no agreement has been able to be reached. Brendan Rodgers has already publicly stated his belief that he really wants Greg Taylor to stay. I think he's been a first class signing for Celtic. He's always the whipping boy, the go-to guy for grief, but he's a very good player. And I think from Greg Taylor's perspective and those who represent him, I'm not saying they should accept any old offer, but if Greg Taylor leaves Celtic, he doesn't go up the way. He goes to a club who are smaller in stature than Celtic, and he has so much to give. So there ought to be ample room for compromise there.
I suppose the difficulty is very few go to a bigger club. I mean, even Matt O'Reilly hasn't gone to a bigger club, so you know that always remains the challenge for players if they do leave. I think what's interesting about this one, Mark, is it doesn't tend to get to this stage for Celtic anymore.
Yeah,
players, the contracts are generally done pretty quickly. They're long and then they're extended. But Hugh's right. Brendan Rodgers makes a real point of publicly telling everyone how much he wants to keep Greg Taylor. But in December, his contract's up at the end of the season and nothing doing yet. It's quite semi-unusual for a first team starter at Celtic.
Well, the contract he's been offered has got to match the performances what he's put in the last couple of years, and maybe that's the case. That's maybe why it's not done and dusted, because Greg Taylor is right. It has to be the correct offer for him. Now, he obviously wants to stay at Celtic, but he'll probably see other players come into the club, and he'll probably see other players extend their contract on X amount and think, well, I'm a really important part of this team. And he is a really important part of the team. We mentioned it before the game. How he plays that role within the Brendan Rodgers style is crucial. So he's right to hold out. I think he will eventually sign. I think the manager wants to sign. But it's like any contract negotiations, some take longer than others, and this one's dragging out a wee bit.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mark. I think you're spot on with everything you said there. Greg Taylor's still got a lot of good football in him. I think, what is he, 27, 28, round about that age? So he's looking for the right contract. I think he's looking for what he's worth. Obviously Celtic have a valuation of what they think they're going to pay him. Other ones may get more money because they've got a resale valuation on them. Greg Taylor will probably be not at that stage, but I'm with Mark. I don't see Greg Taylor leaving Celtic at any time soon.
Is he still the number one choice for you, John? Because I know Valle has had his moments and he's come on and he's looked quite good, but is Greg Taylor still number one?
Well, I think Valle's he's really, really good, but he's only 18. I don't think there's much chance of Barcelona selling him to Celtic, and because I think when he was signed, there was in the contract there was no sell-on clause for Celtic. So whether that's a case, I don't know. Brendan Rodgers was speaking about January windows and how he's still looking to improve areas. Whether that's going to be cover for the future at that position, who knows? But just quickly, can I ask, Gordon DL?
Yep.
Thursday night, had you forgot your razor?
Are you my father?
No.
He was looking scruffy, mate.
Was he looking unshaven, was he?
Do you know, I've got to say, I'm going to agree with John here. I'm not a scruffy looking guy. I just don't suit it. What happened was we had a big afternoon off. I decided to shave Friday morning to be fresh for the Cash for Kids.
Right, okay. Listen, John, I'm glad you mentioned it, because everybody's been asking him about it. Because you suit the clean shaven look more.
I'm not a scruffy guy. I've not got the looks for it.
Anyway, back to normality. For what it's just for a bit of accuracy, it doesn't matter. John's sentiment stays the same. Alex Valle's 20, I think, but still would be considered young. What specifically about today, John? What about today's game? I mean, you must be happy enough.
Well, I think Greg Taylor played in many positions. He was right back, he was right mid, he was over the right wing, and then he was over the other park, and he does that constantly. And I know Brendan Rodgers has given him the freedom to play whatever he likes at parts and his football, but when I think the intelligence that he's produced and he's grown into playing alongside players like Callum McGregor and James Forrest and things, I think he's got more intelligence in the football to make sure that he can play the positions and he can make it look seamless, because the balls and the passing that he's been able to do over the years, it just keeps on impressing, I think.
I'm starting to wonder if this is Greg Taylor's Uncle John on the line.
Or the agent. What percentage do you get, Johnny's new contract?
Listen, we don't disagree with the sentiment. It was just an in-depth Greg Taylor piece there.
He deserves it. Taylor deserves somebody coming on and giving him due credit. And John's basic point about the contract is well made as well. But Celtic should be getting this tied up.
In general today, Gordon, is it another one of those days that it's might actually be seen as quite ominous for the league, because Hibs will be quite pleased with what they did, and Celtic weren't at their best, and it's still a 3-0. How do you get closer?
It's very, very difficult, because even when, look, they gave up a few chances at Celtic Park today, unlike Celtic. Obviously Carter Vickers missing in the centre half role, but I thought Hibs will walk away from Celtic Park thinking, how did we not score? I think Brendan Rodgers will be delighted. Clean sheet, obviously scoring 3 goals, but it's the quality that he can bring on. You see what his substitutions are, and everyone makes the team just as strong, or maybe even stronger, coming off the bench. He's got such a, such a riches in the squad, and the quality they've got makes it very difficult for the rest of the teams. But I think his one concern today would be, I think they gave up quite a few chances against Hibs.
But look at the top 3. Celtic now 9 points away from Aberdeen, and Celtic have a game in hand.
It happened very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like,
and that's why the Jimmy Thielen bubble has burst. 3 points out of the last 15, 9 points behind Celtic, and Celtic have a game in hand. Rangers 14 points behind Celtic, and therefore there is absolutely no margin for error in Dingwall.
Connor is a Celtic fan from Erskine. How's it going, Connor?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Yourselves?
Yeah, not bad. What did you make of it today?
Yeah, good game. A wee bit caught short at the back a few times than usual, but it's as if we just didn't have the pace to kind of get back. But
would you put that down to, Connor? Is it as simple as Cameron Carter-Vickers was missing, or was it something else?
I don't know. Vickers does have a bit of pace. I thought Trusty was faster than what he showed today, but to be fair, Schmeichel is showing why he's a top class keeper as well. Definitely kept it in the net a fair few times for us.
I think the defence got their timing wrong today. Celtic like to push up the park and play everything in the opposition's half, with the players and the centre halves get involved, break into middle park. But the amount of times they get caught just with one ball over the top, they were very, very high up the pitch. Now that's okay if the minute Hibs get the ball you drop off and you make sure that space isn't there, but for Hibs to get 2 1-on-1s with the keeper just with balls over the top of Celtic's defence would annoy Brendan Rodgers. But I think the caller's right. You've got to depend on your keeper, and he's been top class for Celtic. And it was one of those days for me. They just didn't have the timing when to drop off, and that's unusual for Celtic.
I thought the opposition gave them a problem with that. I think when you see it from behind, a couple of the ones that get in behind, I think Yuan coming off that right hand side, he was dragging Scales out, and it was allowing a big gap between Trusty and Taylor, and that's where Hibs were exploiting. But everybody then looks at the back line. If they're squeezing up so high, you've got to have your midfielders or your forwards putting pressure on the ball high up, and maybe that wasn't aligned today. So it kind of all feeds into the same thing, conceding chances, and they were lucky to get away with a clean sheet today. But on the flip side, Celtic showed today they've just got threats in all areas. They'll go round you, the first goal, they will score from set pieces, and they can cut you open through the middle. 3 different goals, and that's been the story of the season from them, from a attacking point of view.
I take it you were at the game today, Connor?
Yeah, so this is the first time my 10-year-old's been there. The last time he was there, Brendan Rodgers left the next night. So I was.
What do you mean that has he not been allowed back? Like it was his fault or something?
He's been barred for the past so many years. So that was his first time back since 3-1 Motherwell. So
what's his name?
It's Cian. He's sitting beside me.
Cian, did you enjoy it, Cian?
I would just say that they could have played better, because some goals that they could have scored really, but they've just went and messed up.
See, Keane has got high standards. He's been away for 5 years now. He's back. He's going, it could have been better.
He's probably praying tonight that Brendan doesn't go tomorrow. I'll never see him again.
I like that from you too. That's a good call, that, Connor. Thank you very much, Connor from Erskine. 01419511025. Celtic fans, keep going if you want on the analysis from today. Rangers fans, it's over to you tomorrow. Will Philippe Clement keep the same team tomorrow? Do you think that is an absolute must? Give us a call. And what about those of you involved today? Come on, Motherwell fans, been grumbling all week. You might as well come on and celebrate. And Kilmarnock fans, a draw for you. St Mirren fans, I suppose, on the other side of the game in Paisley. How sore is that one to take? Let's do the lot when we return.
141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's Open Line.
Gordon Dalziel, Hugh Keevins and Mark Wilson are here waiting for you to react to today's football, or look forward to tomorrow if that's more up your street. But either way, it's 0141 951 1025 and Twitter at Clyde SSB. So do get in touch and let us know what you are thinking. So most of the calls so far reflecting on the game at Celtic Park. We want your thoughts on the other ones as well. What about Paisley, St Mirren fans, Motherwell fans, Killie fans? Is a point good enough? Hearts fans, it's been a while since we discussed the Lawrence Shankland goal, if you want to do that. And of course, how important is it, and will Philippe Clement keep the same team going to Dingwall tomorrow? Let's bring in James first, who's in Easterhouse. Hi James.
Hiya.
How are you?
My first point today is about Greg Taylor. I was talking about him earlier on. I think he's a bit of the whipping boy in Scottish football for Celtic, and I think James Tavernier is the same for Rangers. I just anything that goes wrong for Celtic, it seems to be Greg Taylor's this and Greg Taylor's that. It's the same for James Tavernier for Rangers. I just think Celtic need to obviously the Celtic fans sort of need to leave him alone and let him obviously sign a new contract and stuff like that. I think he just gets a bad press.
Why do you think it is, James?
Well, I don't know why he is. I think he's I really think he's a good player, but I just think anything that goes wrong for Celtic, it seems to be Greg Taylor's this or Greg Taylor's done wrong here. Or it's never anybody. It seems to be Greg Taylor's always the problem, and I don't think he is always the problem. It's just he always gets it. It's the same as James Tavernier for Rangers. Anything that goes wrong with Rangers, it's always James Tavernier's done this wrong. And as I say to your producer as well, see if Rangers, if Celtic had the player of Rangers like James Tavernier has done for Celtic, if he was the same, I think that'd be fantastic. But it's just doesn't get a good press, I don't think.
It's nothing to do with the press. The press are supportive of Greg Taylor.
He means in the kind of general sense, you know, the way people speak about them.
The problem Greg Taylor has is with the Celtic fans, some of them. But the difference between Greg Taylor and James Tavernier is that James Tavernier is with a largely unsuccessful club. Taylor is with a club who more or less win everything. Maybe the Celtic fans, maybe they have higher expectations for that reason, I don't know. But I think we've established today that Taylor is worthy of his place, worthy of being chosen ahead of Alex Valle, and can be very happy with the week he's had. He made the goal at Pittodrie, and he's part of a team who go way in front at the top of the league tonight.
You've got to be careful you don't go too far the other way, Mark. Any player, doesn't really matter who they are, I suppose, is there to be critiqued. And if Celtic fans think Greg Taylor, or anyone else for that matter, can be upgraded or isn't performing at the level, I think that's fine. I think the problem surely comes when the level of criticism is disproportionate.
Yeah.
You know, that tends to be when you start to wonder why, and whether it is a Scottish thing or...
It has been it. I think particularly in the European games, I think Celtic fans think they need a better standard or a better level in that position, but I think you're hard pushed to find it. I really do. Of course there will be upgrades out there, but it's what you can afford and who fits into your system and the style Brendan Rodgers wants to play. He is very good at it. The first caller, John, mentioned that he's very intelligent. I've seen him today, you know, numerous occasions. He's looking over his shoulder, he's trying to find space on the pitch, but not for himself, for his teammates as well. Things like that go unnoticed. But I think when he comes up against the real top level players, really quick wingers, I think he shows a good account of himself. But maybe that's where the Celtic fans think they need better. But you have to remember who went before him. Remember, like Laxalt and guys like that.
Oh,
that were
I liked
just
him. He was good.
My goodness, he was tough to watch.
But remember the caller phoned in complaining that he was getting his hair braided by Shane Duffy in Dubai. I like that.
Those were tough days for Celtic.
You were more of a John Joe Kenny man.
Oh, well, there's another one. I mean, so you had all that. Kieran Tierney was such a popular player for Celtic. You know, came through the academy. Celtic fans loved him. When he left, it's a hard position to fill, and I think Greg Taylor's done a really good job at it.
I can't argue with that. I think Taylor's been brilliant for Celtic, I've got to say. Signing from Kilmarnock, He just looked at his value the other night there. It's not the greatest game in the first half. Brendan Rodgers decides to make that switch. He come on. What a brilliant ball he plays through for Hatate to go and score. Sometimes like clubs, and I think the caller's right, you can pinpoint anything goes wrong with Celtic, it'll probably be Greg Taylor will get a bit of criticism. Anything goes wrong with Rangers, Tavernier gets it left, right and centre. Look, I think Brendan Rodgers values what Greg Taylor brings to the party and desperate to get him signed down.
However, roll on Tuesday night, Mark, because we've said this in the last few weeks. If you look at the so-called big games, and I'm not disrespecting Ross County or Hibs, but those were the ones that the rotation happens in. The ones in between, Taylor starts against Bruges, gets taken off, Vai comes on, people say he makes the difference. The other so-called big game is Aberdeen. It's a top of the table clash. Vai starts, hooked early, Greg Taylor comes on and makes the difference. What are you doing Tuesday?
Who plays, and I even go back to Dortmund. I thought Taylor had a nightmare, and then Vai comes on and he looked decent in that game.
Vai played Atalanta today?
I think so, yeah. I'm not quite sure. It depends how Brendan Rodgers assesses the opposition and if they're going to have a lot of the ball. If they're going to have a lot of the ball, I think Greg Taylor starts.
Good win today though, James?
Yes, definitely good one. Fantastic one.
Is that just, is that a kind of sign of where Celtic are at, that they don't even need to be at their best to win 3-0?
Yeah, I really do think improvements obviously need to be done, but there was a big difference in the team today as well, so I think that's maybe why it was a bit different today as well.
Did you like Kyogo's goal? Was that the pick of the bunch?
That was a very, very sweet goal. It was a very, very sweet goal.
I think you'd have put your hip out trying that first touch.
I didn't have that in my locker. I've got to say, when I seen it, I was as a striker, I'm thinking that is fantastic. Absolutely, he just sets himself up, and to finish it off, his finish is brilliant, isn't it? It's so cool, calm and collected.
How do Andy Halliday and Roger Hanna avoid making that goal of the day or goal of the weekend when they appear on Monday night?
Yeah, well, we've not seen them all, and see what Ross County and Rangers come up with tomorrow. But you're right, it would be a contender, you'd have to imagine. Mark, talk about you get that phrase about making a bad pass into a good pass. I don't think it was a bad pass from James Forrest, but it's fired in a way that it looks very difficult for Kyogo to take it into his stride, and the way he improvises. It's everything. It's obviously the technique, but the sort of speed of thought to figure it all out.
Exactly what I was going to say.
And then, by the way, the finish is just as composed as the touch.
Exactly the words I was going to say there, Gordon. Speed of thought, to have that in your mind as that ball's coming at you so quickly. Almost, I'm trying to describe it, almost steps over it with his inside leg and then takes it in his back foot, kills it dead. But you're right, the finish is clinical. And he's just so sharp in and around those areas. A terrific goal.
Will do him the world of good. He'll be a certain starter. He'll be a certain starter at Hampden next week, that's for sure, if he's fit, because he comes alive in the big games in the finals. That tonight, just looking at that, it was absolutely brilliant from Celtic. Forrest had the belief that Kyogo can handle those passes, and he certainly showed that. And when the goalkeeper come out, it's just a great finish. It must have been the delight to sit in the stadium and watch it.
Yeah, incredible. Well done to James on the line. 0141 951 1025. That is the number that you need. Let's bring in Adam, who's a Hearts fan. You must be delighted, Adam. Finally something to cheer about.
Good evening, Gordon. Good evening, panel. Yeah, absolutely. A much needed win for Hearts today. Despite the fact that I wasn't overly impressed with Dundee, but I think we made it look really routine today, so that's a massive positive for us, for sure.
How can we go any further without discussing Lawrence Shankland? Where have you been on him right before today? Did you think he should have been out the team? Did you always have faith? And then what about his 2 goals today?
I actually thought that he probably could have and should have been dropped after Bruges, particularly with the abuse that came from the away end and his own so-called supporters not really getting behind him. So I was surprised to see him start against Aberdeen last weekend, but I'm really chuffed for him today. Two goals that basically ended the drought. The first is a fantastic header. The second, he's in the right place at the right time, and he's had that little bit of luck today that previously he's not really had that type of thing come off for him. So yeah, much needed brace from our captain, and hopefully now he's found his shooting boots again.
Much needed is one way of putting it, Hugh.
Well, here we go again. January transfer window approaching.
He's doing it just in time.
Lawrence Shanklin for Rangers. Off we go again. But on a personal level, Adam's quite right. The abuse that he took in Belgium was unacceptable. As Neil Critchley rightly pointed out, Hearts wouldn't be in the tournament were it not for the goals scored by Lawrence Shanklin. That's where fans let themselves down. I mean, to deal in that level of personal abuse as they did that night was shameful. But he's back, he's scoring. This will unlock the remainder of the season for him. But believe it, January 1, Shanklin for Rangers starts all over again.
You would never leave him out. And the reason I wouldn't leave him out was you're not looking at a player that's playing badly. The fact is he wasn't scoring the goals. If you're sitting bottom of the league, Shanklin is probably on form their best player. You don't leave your best player and captain out the side when you're really struggling. He's shown today.
Just even wondered though if it was close to getting to the stage that even for him or whatever. I mean, you could see it looked like the weight of the world on his shoulders. The penalty. Did you not start to think this might never go right again?
No, because I think he's got too much quality, Gordon. And I think you'll always get the rub of the green somewhere along the line. I think you've got to, for a manager, you've got to have faith in him. You know what he can do, you know what he can bring to the team. Yes, he was going through a difficult time. Sometimes a manager will have a chat with you and say, look, do you want me to take you out the firing line? You can sit on the bench, we'll bring you on, do whatever it may be. I don't think that chat would have taken place. I think the manager believes in Shanklin, and he obviously showed today he's still got the ability. Scores 2 goals. He could go on a run. There's no doubt he's got it in his locker. He could go on a good run now.
Yeah, I think it might have got close if they had anybody half decent to replace him. I think if they had another proven goal scorer or somebody that they know they can chip in with a few.
Liam Boyce of 4 years ago or something like that.
100%, and they might have just taken him out. But like, I would disagree with Adam's terms of him losing his place then after the bruise, because a lot of his link-up play has been good, but if they just had that wee bit better competition, maybe.
Adam, can this be the start of something? You're off bottom.
I certainly hope so, Gordon. I mean, we have got some favourable fixtures coming up toward the end of the month, albeit we go to Rugby Park on Sunday. Not too happy a hunting ground for us, and of course Kilmarnock did us at Tynecastle in the league fixture, so the reverse fixture I should say. So I think that St Johnstone, Hibs in the derby on Boxing Day is absolutely huge, and then a trip to the Highlands to face Ross County. I think if we get 7 points maybe out that trio, I think we're going to be fine.
We said it today, Hugh, this was the one that the fans almost expect you to win. Doesn't matter where you are, you're still Hearts, bottom of the league, fine, but at home against Dundee is so different from the 10 other games. The 10 games Neil Critchley's got individually, he's not really had a bad result. He's lost to Celtic and Rangers, and in Europe he's not lost a game like this. So he had to get it right today,
and he did. And Shanklin scored twice, and he went off the bottom of the league, and they put Hibs bottom of the league. So for Adam, this is Christmas Day.
Let's hear from his manager on the topic of Lawrence Shanklin. Here's Neil Critchley.
I very much hope so, yeah. If you look at his some of his stats and the data behind his performances, then other than the last little bit, he's been very similar to what he's been producing, well, particularly last season. So that'll give him a world of confidence, lifted a bit of a weight off his shoulders, if you like, and hopefully you can see the relief for the players and him and the supporters. It's a big moment for him, so hopefully he can now, yeah.
Thanks, Adam. 0141 951 1025. Busy phones tonight by the looks of it. We'll take more of your calls, and we will hear from more managers. What does Brendan Rodgers make of today? We'll find out next.
Clyde One's Cash for Kids Mission Christmas
with J&D Pierce, Scotland's premier structural steel specialist, proud to support the local community.
This time next week we will be building up to the League Cup final, and you could be there. The 15th of December it is the League Cup final at Hampden, and all thanks to Cash for Kids we have a sensational opportunity for you. A pair of VIP silver debenture tickets for Celtic fans and a pair for Rangers fans as well. Some of the best seats in the house, lounge access in the main stand, and all you need to do is enter our raffle with the money going to Mission Christmas. It is a brilliant opportunity because you could have a ticket for one of the hottest games of the year whilst helping disadvantaged children right here in Glasgow the West and Ayrshire. So for your chance to win it, if you're a Celtic fan, text Celtic to 84901, and the same number if you're a Rangers fan, text Rangers to 84901. You must do it before 8 o'clock this Thursday, the 12th of December. And here's the important bit: the text costs one standard network rate message plus a £10 donation to Cash for Kids. Every penny of that, we can genuinely guarantee it, every single penny of that goes straight back to children that need your help. So pretty much for a tenner to charity, you could be off to the League Cup final in the VIP seats. It's over 18s only. T's and C's on the Cash for Kids page at Clyde1.com. You would be mad to miss out, I'm sure you'll agree. So text Celtic or Rangers to 84901. Good luck.
Or say 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's Open Line.
We will hear from Brendan Rodgers very soon. If you want to look ahead to tomorrow's trip to Dingwall as well, then do that please, Rangers fans. Let's bring in Ethan on the phones first. How are you, Ethan?
Hi there, pal, you alright?
What's on your mind tonight?
I was just coming on to say, I think Motherwell have a good wee performance. Obviously they weren't playing at the best, but we've got a couple of injuries on. What I was coming on to say though was about Tony Watt. I was really thinking during the game, he's been playing good the past two games. I wonder what his football career will happen down the line. Like, what will he come to Motherwell? I'm not asking him on to, can I ask you a question? What do you think is going to happen with Tony Watt? And also, people are so quick to judge when a team's doing bad. I think Motherwell are doing brilliantly, and we won this game, and people are just...
Yeah, let's go through both those points. Does anyone know what Tony Watt's future ever holds? Gordon Dalziel.
He's a couple of clubs, and then that can do the full circle, isn't it? He's had that many clubs. I like Tony. I think he brings good professionalism to Motherwell. I think he works hard. I think he's a threat. I think he can get you the goal. That obviously important one today for him. He's been used sparingly since he's come into Fir Park, but he got an opportunity today, and you've got to say, best time in the world as a striker to score right in the last kick of the ball. So I totally agree with the caller there about Motherwell and the stick that Stuart Kettlewell comes under. He's sitting in 5th place, Gordon. You would accept that all day long, and it'll be interesting to see over the coming months what Tony Watt's future and where it lies.
It's going to be difficult because it depends on Tony Watt. I mean, by all accounts, on decent money where he is just now, can Motherwell match that? Would he be prepared to take a cut from that? How desperate is he still to be in the Premiership? So all those questions will come into it at the end of the season. But he's done a decent job today. I don't know if he'd be worth
contract will be up in the summer though, I think.
Yeah. So that depends. So, but is he willing to take?
Well, if it's up in the summer, I don't know
if it's up. Then is anyone going to match that?
You wouldn't think so, would you? But he might have offers from further afield. You might think.
How old is Tony now? He's 30.
He's about to turn 31.
Yeah, he's still got a few years left in him. Good experienced player. If his contract's up, he's obviously got to leave Dundee United, so he won't be looking at the same money, let me tell you that.
No. He's done well the last couple of games, Hugh, and I know he gets this reputation and all that, and he's so many clubs, but I think he's always said that despite the way he left, he's explained why he had to. The money at Dundee United was very good. He's always felt of all the clubs that Motherwell has sort of fitted him the best. He's not started lightning quick on his return, but maybe we're starting to see it.
Yeah, we're asking a question. Tony Watt doesn't know where he wants to go next. He'll look back in his career and he will have no regrets. He will always have that moment that he doesn't like to talk about, when he scored against the team he doesn't like to mention, while playing for Celtic. And he has moved around. He has been the epitome of a professional footballer. He's gone with the money sometimes, gone for other reasons. He'll look back and say, I had a rich and varied career. And I'm not talking about rich in monetary terms. He'll say, I enjoyed it. And right now it's impossible to speculate.
So you think some of the stick's been over the top in the last week for the team, Ethan, or for the manager?
I think it's over the top because obviously there's pressure, and also see when the fans are not on the same level as the players, the confidence drops down. And I realised with Muller what happened last season as well. See when the players have got zero confidence. You see, confidence is one of the most important things, I think, in football, nearly one of them. And with the fans abusing and sitting there slagging him on Facebook, and that adds pressure. And you saw that he got a yellow card, I think, get well today or something like that, or he was angry. That's because he's so stressed, man. Feel bad for the guy sometimes, but at least he's doing all right now.
It's a stressful business, it has to be said. Look, again, it kind of goes back to what we were saying about Greg Taylor. You're allowed to criticise. You think the style of play is bad, you pay your money, go and call it out. You think results are not good enough, you pay your money, call it out. I think that's fine. It's just about, I think, Gordon doing it in the right way, in the right time, channeling it properly. And if you've been a Motherwell fan all your days, you surely know what your realistic of expectations are. You know, they're now in the top 6 with a 4-point cushion, I think, a game to spare. That sounds like a manager who is a million miles away from under pressure.
Yeah,
but I guess it's modern culture.
2 points off fourth as well, just sitting in, behind Dundee United. He does get a bit of criticism, I think, for the style of play and everything. That's just the nature of football, and you're right. If you pay your money, you're entitled to criticise if you don't like what you're seeing, as long as it doesn't become personal. I looked at the social media last week, Gordon, after the Hibs game, and the amount of Motherwell fans were on crying for his job. I thought that's incredible.
Because, by the way, I wouldn't like to be Brian Caldwell or the new chairman Kirk McMillan, who, when they do sack Stuart Kettlewell, phone up the next guy that they want to be the manager and say, do you want to come and do this job? You'll have one of the smallest budgets in the league, but by the way, see if you drop below 6, you're out as well.
When you're in a league,
I don't think the CVs will be piling up on the desk.
A league with Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Hearts and a rejuvenated Aberdeen, you're sitting 5th place. You're doing a pretty decent job.
That's why I think foreign players find that they need to take time to adjust to this country, because most of it is crazy.
And we love it for it, sort of, in a roundabout way. Thank you to Ethan, a Motherwell fan from Airdrie. Let's hear from Brendan Rodgers. A 3-0 win from Celtic, not at their best, and I think he reflects that here.
A strange sort of game. Obviously delighted with the win. 3rd game this week, so on the back end of a game in midweek, a tough game away from home. So to come here and get the victory and keep a clean sheet, great. Some of our attacking play was very good, scored good goals, created more chances. Defensively, for our standard, nowhere near it. Not to the level that I would expect and want, but sometimes that's part of when you do make the changes, and so that's on me. But that defensive side, which is our start point, our pressing, counter-pressing, wasn't so good in the first half. Second half it was much better, so we controlled the game second half to a better level. Our 3rd goal comes from a counter press from James, where he blindsides press, and that's more like how we've been, and that's why it's pleasing in the end. But always things to improve in our performance. We're losing too many balls on the right side. In order to push them back, you've got to retain the ball, and James Forrest is one of the best players, probably the best player I've ever worked with at retaining the ball on the side. People will look at it now and go, oh, it's because of maturity. No, he was doing that when I was here in 2016. The best player in receiving the ball on the side of a pitch, when it's tight, left side or right side, to keep the ball, and then that allows you to sustain the attacks. So too often we gave it away in the first half.
Good line that, Hugh. Defensively, miles off it. Could easily have said 3-0, clean sheet, all positive, on we go, but takes his opportunity there to send a message.
Nowhere near it, he said, but better second half, dominated the second half, and that was correct. But in the midst of that domination, Hibs still had chances. But a nice tribute to end on with regard to James Forrest into his 16th season at Celtic, and you can't ask much fairer than that for the manager to say you're the best player in the country when it comes to receiving the ball in a tight position on the wide area.
I always like it when managers are really specific like that. I don't know why, it's just like a weird fascination I've got, because he's not going to say James Forrest's the best player I've ever worked with. Like, he's not, you know what I mean? He's not going to the statement of that size. But he's said that loads of times before, very specifically. When it's tight to the touchline and the ball is fired to somebody, he's the best he's worked with. I just quite like that he's very, like I say, very specific in what he likes from James Forrest.
It's an excellent compliment for James Forrest, you've got to say. That's attention of detail that Brendan Rodgers puts into it, and I think James Forrest will get a huge lift from that. James Forrest has been a fantastic player for Celtic, no doubt, and still will go on to win more medals and trophies. I'm not surprised that he came out and criticised the defender. I think that today, on another Saturday afternoon, Hibs should have really scored 1 or 2 goals. And Brendan Rodgers said it, it's not like them. But they've got the clean sheet, they've got the important 3 points, massive week for them, 2 really important games coming up, and he's got a squad there that, if things aren't going right, the quality can bring off the bench, and Kyogo showed that today with a great goal.
But his criticism wasn't specific at the back four. I think that's important to point out. It was about the full team pressing, and I touched on that earlier. When you've got a high line like that and you don't put pressure on the ball quick enough, you'll get the ball played in behind you. So I think he recognised that. I don't think he was that good against Bruges, or Celtic were good against Bruges in the first period as well with that side of the game, and that's how it opened up. So they'll need to be a lot better, I think, on Tuesday night at the top level.
Just before we leave James Forrest, his numbers are staggering. If Celtic win the Cup next weekend against Rangers, and I underline if, he overtakes Bobby Lennox, the Lisbon Lion, for trophies won. I mean, it's astonishing.
Thank you for the previous call there. Can we squeeze one more in? We might be struggling. What about tomorrow, Gordon Dalziel? I don't think you'll find a Rangers fan who doesn't think he should keep the same team. Will he keep the same team?
It's a big if, and the reason I'm going to say, if it was a game tomorrow and he didn't have a game to next Saturday, I think he'd be really mad not to keep the same team. But like Brendan Rodgers, as much as tomorrow's so important, he'll have one eye on Spurs on Thursday, and he'll have one eye on the Cup final. So me personally, I would like to see him keep the same team, the same starting 11, but I'm not too sure he's going to do that.
The most important 8 days in Philippe Clement's Ibrox career. He cannot afford to lose any points in Dingwall. He has that match with Tottenham, Rangers going well in the Europa League, but he has to do well against Tottenham and go into the Cup final with some kind of momentum. And then, of course, he hasn't beaten Celtic as a Rangers manager, and if you can't beat Celtic, you're no use to Rangers. So 8 massive days for Philippe Clement.
But tomorrow's so important, Mark, because this is the type of game that is the priority. You know, Rangers' European position's fine anyway. You know, I know they won't want embarrassed or whatever, and it would be great to lay a glove, but Rangers, they've got their points almost in the bag in Europe, so they, believe it or not, they can afford to lose against Spurs. They cannot afford to drop points tomorrow.
Yeah, and they've had small building blocks put in place last week, or midweek should I say, with a good result, and they need to build on that. They've got Aberdeen in their sights now, so that game becomes a priority, and Hugh's right, it just sets you up nicely for the big one next Sunday.
Again, Gordon, we kind of joked about it last night. Is this the first time Rangers fans will be excited about a domestic game? Because they've not had any performances like Wednesday to then take into the next game. You could tell by the tone of the callers, though, they're not ready to get excited yet. They're still just waiting. They still know that, you look at even last season, they were in quite a good place when they had games like Dundee and Ross County, and it all fell apart.
Yeah, I think they're in a better place after Wednesday night. I think that the Rangers fans were delighted with their performance. 6 goals, clean sheet, seen a bit of flair in their football, enjoyed their football. They'll be looking forward to that tomorrow. Ross County are always difficult up there. You know what you're going to get with them. They're going to be really hard to beat. They'll go in a low block against you, try and frustrate you, but it's up to Rangers to go and get that victory and take a bit of confidence into, as Hugh quite rightly says, an important 8 days.
Sum up today for us, Hugh.
The league table doesn't lie. Celtic 9 points ahead of Aberdeen with a game in hand. Celtic 14 points ahead of Rangers. And while the league table doesn't lie, Motherwell are in 5th position. Those who wanted Stuart Kettle out, have a look at yourselves.
Words of wisdom from Hugh Keevins. Anyway, we are back on Monday night, so whatever happens in Dingwall tomorrow, we lump it on to whatever happened today, and of course we look ahead to the Champions League as well. Another busy week coming up on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Make sure you join us Monday at 6, and in the meantime, of course, you're going to stay right there. Get the weekend properly started in the company of the GBX. Have a good one.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Book a test drive for the fully electric range today. Head online for details.
It's cold. It's actually Baltic out there. And I've just seen how much new boots are going to cost me.
Just chill, mate. Well, not literally. I've used PayPal credit for mine, so I could buy now and pay over time.
Oh, good shout. And I might be able to feel my little toes again.
Don't just pay. PayPal.
Representative 23.9% APR variable, subject to status. Minimum monthly payment required. Terms apply. PayPal UK Limited.
Hey! I've got one more game. I'm about to dial in. Loading up. Now enter in the lobby. Give me the controller. Get your own. Wanna play? I'm doing a side quest.
Downloading a new skin.
I'm back with a clan. The squad, let's go.
Want to play co-op?
Got a mission to do. Attack. Fire in the hole.
You're gaming and caning the broadband? Wi-Fi 7 on EE makes every device work better, even yours.
Yo, guys, let's loot. Go. We're moving.
Upgrade to Wi-Fi 7 on EE and we'll sort the switch for you.
43.7% UK availability. Smart Hub Pro and Smart Wi-Fi Pro available with selected EE full fibre plans. Terms apply.